Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, about to deliver a Freedom Friday show. You may not know it, but we do a 1 hour pre-show before every recorded broadcast, in which I'm able to do a little bit more than I do with my YouTube show because I've got a little bit more leniency in terms of what I can play. And we would love to bring you more interactive videos of other things during our regular recorded broadcast, but whenever we do, we're oftentimes given copyright monetization warnings by YouTube. So there's no ending this. YouTube, there's no one you can contact at YouTube. Google doesn't answer any emails. In fact, you can't reach Facebook, Google, or anybody if you really want to. And that's because the government owns these organizations. They don't want anyone contacting them. They don't want you to know that they own the organizations either. So here we are living in a sham of a fake world where the government is releasing secrets of tapping into people, ransom threats. There's a current ransom threat that can be traced to the Vault 7 release by the wiki. The ransom threat that's going on right now is worldwide, but mostly targeting Russia. And they're asking people for money, claiming they've hijacked their computers, blah, blah, blah. Don't respond to it, ignore it. Do everything you can to stop it. And it's related to a Windows update. Almost everything seems to be related to a Windows update. And Microsoft is government owned and operated as well. People don't know this. The government doesn't own Amazon. The government works with Amazon. Amazon gets a great rate on their shipping, beyond belief rate. I mean, we're literally financing the growth of Amazon by giving them cheap shipping rates, whereas you and I pay tons to send something across the country. So what's happening really is a concerted effort by our government, which is basically incompetent, to do absolutely nothing to ensure your privacy. And that requires political change, and that's why a third party is absolutely essential here. We've got to get political change moving forward. The Trump situation is spiraling out of control. Him meeting with Kissinger was just the beginning. I mean, Kissinger showed up when Nixon was going down with Watergate. Kissinger shows up for a cameo with Trump as Trump's going down with Russiagate. I'm going to be showing you links tonight that show that Russia and Trump are definitely high on a priority list at the Justice Department, and firing James Comey may very well have been the worst thing that Trump could have done. His own words are adding fuel to questions about the legality of firing Comey. Trump did this. With his own words, over the past 2 days, Trump has vastly escalated the stakes of potential consequences of his decision to fire Comey, the FBI director, provoking questions about whether his motivations and tactics may have run afoul. So the biggest question now is, do they have tape recordings like Nixon had the Watergate case? Because Trump just said Comey better hope that he doesn't, the tape recordings don't get shown or revealed. Comey said, bring it. Comey said, bring it. He said, absolutely, there's nothing to hide. So he's hoping they can get the tapes from the White House. And you know, when Barack Obama was president, a reporter had done an interview with him and didn't hit the record button on his recorder and walked out, talked to the staff and said, hey, I didn't have a recording of this. The staff said, no problem. We'll send you a transcript. And it arrived at his office the next day. They monitor the White House, and Trump is now going to have to answer to people requesting subpoenaing for the White House tapes that he claims he has, which somehow vindicate him. But Comey said, bring it. Let's get this show on the road. We're going to have an impeachment trial, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Dave, what made you decide to run for president? Well, I recognized a long, long time ago, I had a situation where I realized that I was not going to get an education that was paid for. I realized that I was going to be singled out as a Caucasian and not receive any money and no access to the Ivy League schools that I wanted to get into. Now, mind you, I was the number one student in my high school of 770 students. And I was essentially reverse discriminated against. And at that time, I said to myself, I'm going to turn this around somehow. I'm going to make this work. And in the process, it may be funny to you, but in the process, I configured a plan to build this third party and bypass all the controls of the academic community, which were preventing me from actually succeeding in life. And I recognized that one of the best things I could do is to get under their skin big time. And when the internet came about, we're talking the early, actually middle 1980s, I started investing in everything I could computer-wise. I spent $10,000 investing in computers in 1988, 95, in that time period. And in the process, I was able to acquire a video business. I made videos using computers. I was able to develop my advertising business. And in the process, I was able to learn everything I could about the internet. And then when we dove right in 1995, when we purchased CoolRock, I purchased CoolRock ahead of Sarah because I didn't meet her till 1998. I started a plan to grow a website, and it didn't work out. And we started a concept called the CoolRock Party in 2005. In that time, we created the ocean pipeline idea. We pitched a bunch of companies, venture capitalist companies, on medical solutions like our mobile medical unit solution, and no positive responses whatsoever from the financials. Nobody wanted to get involved in what we were doing. The governments turned our ideas down. That we sent local governments ideas. We pitched the monorail down in Seattle on an idea that would save them tons of money. They totally dissed us completely. So then I realized I had to turn this into a political movement, and we created the CoolRock Party. People said that's a stupid name. That's a ridiculous name. It is true, Ace Spade. Yeah. And I said, well, you're right. I mean, CoolRock Party doesn't seem to indicate what we're all about. We wanted to create a third party. So I said, let's just call this America's Third Party. And in 2008, we went live on Blog Talk Radio. I started right there, and then within a few weeks, we went into Blog Talk, or Blog TV, which was a very strong platform for 4 or 5 years and was a very strong way which we could communicate. To this day, nobody's replicated the incredible software that is being kept from us by the company that paid only $5 million to Blog TV to go away. I was huge on Blog TV. I was the #1 broadcaster. I brought 1 million people into this network at Vaughn. 5 years ago, Vaughn realized he had something here. Somebody contacted him and now pays him monthly. I don't see a threat. We have that log, threat from 17881846372, death threat. It's been logged.
Death threat recorded. IP has been logged.
All right. Remember, your VPN, when you're making your death threat, is owned by the government. Most of the VPNs in the world are owned by the U.S. government. You think you're somehow evading detection by doing that? Don't make death threats. It could be a 25-year prison sentence for you. All right. How come I don't think Kissinger's a swell guy? Because Kissinger is at the root of evil itself. Here's the top 10 most inhumane things that Kissinger has said. Quotes. I mean, it's ridiculous. Let's take a look here. Military men are dumb, stupid animals. That was one of his quotes. But it's an act of insanity, he said, and national humiliation to have a law prohibiting the president from ordering assassinations. This is the kind of guy Henry Kissinger is. He's the man who was sitting there with Richard Nixon, and I'm sure Richard Nixon was being recorded in his White House during those 17 minutes when he was saying, "Henry, I know we have to bomb Cambodia. I want to take out the entire country. Mr. President, I believe that we could only kill 100,000 with a direct air raid." Well, then let's do it. Let's take them out. I mean, we probably would have loved to hear that. But Rosemary Woods put her foot on a recording device and shut down 17 minutes of whatever Henry and Richard were talking about. So I'm sure Richard Nixon, no longer living, is living on in the form of Henry Kissinger, because he was manipulating Richard Nixon like he's manipulating Donald Trump now. Now, Kissinger wants a war in Syria. He wants us to press deeper because he wants this New World Order plan to put a pipeline in Syria, which is ridiculous. We don't need the oil from Syria. These old men in the Council on Foreign Relations, and I'm going to include Brzezinski in this, have been up to no good for a long time, and nobody's called him on it. Kissinger is an Ashkenazi. Trump surrounds himself with Ashkenazis. Hitler surrounded himself with Ashkenazis, ergo the name Nazi. Okay? Thank you. He's a handler. He's called Heinz for the Jewish or Ashkenazi banking community. Now, I in no way want to say bad things about Jewish people. I do want everyone to know that the goal of creating Israel was a completion unto itself. And the Zionist movement should have ended then. But instead, the powerful, the most powerful, wanted to move on and turn Israel into a larger span of power. They wanted to take down Syria. They wanted us to take down Iraq. We're there still in Iraq, doing their bidding. Our foreign policy has been dominated by these Zionists. So the new definition of Zionism is the New World Order, in my opinion. All right. Ask your doctor if you're having a problem with that. Yeah. Now, I'm not a flat earther, and I don't allow anyone to talk about a flat earth here because it's ridiculous. It's actually a psyops being performed by the CIA called Shoot the Moon. And Shoot the Moon is determining how many people are stupid enough to believe the earth is flat. Don't fall into that. What would you do about U.S. security considering a popular tool used by the NSA to now being used by an invisibly few? Well, it occurred to me today that the WikiLeaks release of Vault 7 was probably an inside job at the CIA and the NSA. And it occurred to me that nobody at those agencies want anyone to know the footprint or fingerprint of anyone who goes into a computer and hacks into it. So the best thing they could have done in their minds, which was not good, was to release this to the world so that anybody could be hacking into your personal computer and they wouldn't be labeled. They wouldn't be called. In a way, it was their attempt to defer blame. And that's the only logical reason why the WikiLeaks event occurred. I don't believe WikiLeaks is an independent agency anymore. I believe they were compromised. They in no way appear like an independent agency. But I do believe that the WikiLeaks that were released that implicate Podesta and others in alleged pedophile activity and worse, these WikiLeaks have merit because they were not screened like the Benghazi ones were screened. Case in point, of the 30,000 emails that Hillary made, that she definitely has copies of all over the world somewhere, not one of those emails mentioned the word Benghazi. That means that the WikiLeaks organization culled every one of those emails and pulled ones that had Benghazi references because Hillary's activities in Benghazi reveals the underbelly of CIA foreign policy and how we've been funding, our government's been funding Al-Qaeda in order to depose Muammar Gaddafi from power. So no one wanted anyone to talk about Benghazi. And even Hillary got Bernie to say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make Benghazi a big issue here. It lost him the primary. He was bought off, apparently. And the questions about Bernie and his wife are still lingering. So if you put your faith and trust in people like that who are part of the two-party system, then I'm sorry for you. The only way we can get out of this serious corruption that we're in is to open up this new third party. There's only one way. Well, Max, if you understand the roots of Adolf Hitler, you'll know that he got a lot of funding from J.P. Morgan, an Ashkenazi, with direct ties to the Rothschilds, Ashkenazis. And Hitler himself was Jewish. His father was Jewish. His mother was his sister. So there's a lot of weird stories about Hitler, but I'm of the belief that Hitler was a Zionist. And he wanted the formation of Israel because they wanted to control Jerusalem. They were seeking, at the end of World War II, at the apex of the German Empire, before the end, they were seeking the Ark of the Covenant. They were seeking the Holy Grail. And they wanted Jerusalem. So you see the footprint of Zionism all over what Hitler did. Now, when he killed all those ethnic minorities, and many people are denying that right now, we can differ on the numbers. Bottom line is, he lined people up and sent them into concentration camps. That was not something a nice leader does, okay? And anyone who claims that they were all happy in the concentration camps, you're out of your mind. Most of the propaganda photographs that were taken by Adolf Hitler are being used now by his proponents to say, oh, he treated them very nicely. And they show pictures that Hitler himself had created just to make people think that he was a nice guy and he was treating people very... This is insane. I'm not going to even go down that road. Late winter storms just wiped out the entire wheat crop of western Kansas. Are you prepared for food disruptions? It's coming. A mild winter graced the plains, the Midwest, luring farmers to plant early and causing winter wheat to sprout sooner. It's all dead. This is what global climate change is doing, and it is being triggered by the same people we're talking about, the global elitists. They are controlling our weather using a product which was developed many years ago. It's a product which combines chemtrails, the dumping of heavy metals on our skies, and phased array radar. And they're able to control the weather. They can make droughts, they can make water, they can make rain, they can cloud seed, they can do all of that. They can play God. And that's the problem. They're trying to play God and they can't. Al Franken is not very good right now. He hasn't filed any case against Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions, it seems, is perjured himself twice in a testimony with a Senate subcommittee hearing Al Franken was in charge of or involved in. Al Franken is not showing any serious courage whatsoever. And he's an apologist for the Republicans. He's not even a true Democrat. I mean, he's an apologist for the Republicans. It's weird the way he's apologizing for Russia and Trump and all this. So I'm beginning to wonder about Al Franken too. Rumor is Maxine Waters has enough votes for impeachment to begin. Excellent work, Maxine. I congratulate you. You're showing a good quality of congressional action. Now, Trump has signed a treaty to import Chinese chicken. Can you believe how wrong that is? We've got some of the most powerful chicken-producing agricultural venues in the country. China has already taken over a pork venue. Smith Foods is run by China. They make pork in America. But for him to approve of the Chinese chicken in America, we know that the Chinese have been sending in their own chicken through the chain that they run through. Lots of the buffets, Chinese buffets, run Chinese chicken through there. Nobody processes it. Nobody goes after it. So I believe there's something really suspicious about everything Trump does. This may be payback for the 38 trademarks that China gave Ivanka, one of which was a trademark, no kidding, for the Trump escort service. All right, this is a really interesting. We are dealing with freedom right now. We've got a president who is clearly suppressing freedom left and right. Jeff Sessions just announced that he's going to increase the number of felons that can be integrated into our private prison system. And I argue that it's in no way something that really helps our country. He claims it's because murder is on an increase, murder rates are on an increase. He claims he's going after drug dealers. He's doing whatever the private prison system wants him to do. One of the only things that came out of the Obama administration that was actually good was they determined that, thank you for that link on Sketchy Chicken, they determined that the private prison system was a net failure. But now Jeff Sessions is giving them more funding and more support and wants to incarcerate more people in the private prison system. So you see how he's going to increase the number of prisoners, yeah. You see how Jeff Sessions floats. He's going for the money. The big money that controls the Republican Party wants more private prisons that have been proven to be ineffective, completely ineffective. Massive attacks on computers worldwide, courtesy of a group called the Shadow Brokers. Really? Well, we know that this entire ransom software attack has been undaunting. But ironically, it's mostly attacking Russia. So it makes me wonder, is this retribution for Russia going after our election? I mean, is this a CIA, a Stuxnet type of attack that they're running secretly through a group of hackers? You don't know. You don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. I don't either. I can't run for a local election. I think I explained that to you. I ran for a local office, and they virtually smeared me in the foreign press, which is my local newspaper. We don't have a local newspaper. It's run by a Canadian firm. I'm not disputing that Obama didn't release a lot of people from prisons. I mean, I have a very interesting little theory about what happened with Obama. Let me show you something. Obama releasing 47 prisoners, drug dealers, out of El Reno prison in Oklahoma.
President Obama continues his visit around our state today, of course.
That's right. The president was in Durant yesterday. He was talking about expanding internet access in low-income communities like the Choctaw Nation. Today, he's going to be headed to El Reno.
Ali Meyer joins us live now in El Reno. And Ali, it's going to be the first type of a visit here. This type of a visit's going to the prison there for a sitting president.
That's right, Kent. The president's going to be headed here to El Reno just a few hours from now. Part of the focus in his second term on reforming our system here, the system of minimum federal sentencing guidelines.
Okay, so that's what Jeff Sessions is repealing right now. And I found it very interesting to know that the 47 inmates that were released from El Reno were part of a study that's being conducted at El Reno, which is, unfortunately, most people don't know about it. It's studying the effect of RFID chips on your brain. So I really don't know if Obama didn't release 47 drug dealers into our society with chips in their head. I really don't know the answer to that. I would love to find out. Look, Trump won't prosecute Obama for being an illegal president. Trump is in no way reversing any of Obama's policies when it comes to foreign entanglements like Henry Kissinger and the New World Order. So in essence, Trump is covering for Obama and Hillary. We're not getting any restitution here. So don't think for a second that Trump is got your anti-establishment guy. One of the things we can do with our national debt, 303, is to collateralize it with the money that the World Bank is holding for us. We have $40 trillion in gold in storage at the World Bank. Not many people know that. We owe them 20 trillion combined, including debt to China and Russia, or China and Japan. But the Belgium organization, the World Bank, is the only group that we have to really deal with the debt. So we can go directly at them and ask them to surrender their note, or produce the note, or produce the gold, and then cash us out, because we're done with them. And we can retire the Fed, but it's going to take about a year to do it. I'm proposing an infrastructure bank parallel to the Federal Reserve that we can actually build jobs directly. U.S. citizens would get U.S. jobs. Only businesses that are U.S. based would get a 2% loan to get this money, and they would have to pay people $15 an hour. Basically, a living wage would come out of the investment. We wouldn't be forcing it on restaurants across the country that are forced now to pay $15 an hour and are closing down because of it. But anyone who takes a loan out with the U.S. infrastructure bank would have to meet that $15 an hour requirement. I'm not going to change the dollar as the primary international currency. Of course not. I really think that we can reap the rewards of countless years as a stable currency because everyone wants stability. There's no reason why we can't even make a few maneuvers on our own internally, like draft another proposal like Executive Order 111110 that JFK created, creating silver-backed dollars. There's no reason why we can't do that. So we could create a new denomination like I'm just hypothetically like a $3 bill that's silver-backed. And that would change the dimension of number of currency in our current cycle. Right now, on any given day, 23% of our U.S. currency is in use here in the United States. 77% overseas, stored in railroad containers. And we don't know half of that is really legal or not. So we would automatically make our money more valuable by doing something like that. And they would try to convert. They'd want more $3 silver-backed or gold-backed or combined-backed dollars. There's a lot of new technologies that could be applied to this too, like the Secret Service could man our banks and run checks like Check 21. on people. Anyone churning over, say, $10,000 would have to put their fingerprint in a device. And for drug dealers, that would be a big problem. Okay, an NSA-derived ransomware worm is shutting down computers worldwide. Very, very serious. This is a potential risk that we've always known about. And when the WikiLeaks cloud, the Vault 7 leak happened, we knew that the technologies that were being released could very well be a crap storm on our economies. So we're going to see how well that plays out. Oftentimes it comes down to people just making updates to their system, and Windows being one of those lax companies that Microsoft has to get better at what they're doing. Coming up with new bells and whistles isn't going to solve the problem. They've got a serious security breach on that program. And what's really weird about Windows is you go into it and it tells everything that you're doing to Microsoft. You have to actually turn it down. Nope, I have nothing to do with Obama. I, in fact, started America's Third Party because I am completely... Max had a time in here, and he's no longer here anymore. Max, you're violating the time I give you in the show. And in no way am I going to allow you in the show anymore, Max. So don't bother coming back. Yeah, you had an opportunity to see my moderate stance on Israel, and I don't want you in the show. I want you out. You're wasting our time with your hollow host crap. No, unfortunately, 705 was another hollow hoaxer. We need to ban him too. All right. Let's look at the epic failure we now know as Trump. Comey Associates dispute Trump's account of conversations. Comey wants Trump to get those tapes out there. Trump threatens to get tapes out there proving that something is wrong with Comey. Comey was strong on denying that the wiretapping occurred under Obama. Never could provide any proof. No one could see any proof of Trump's allegation. So Trump is basically swimming in a world of crap right now. And it's going to get worse because he does everything he does seems to implicate his guilt. When he claimed that Comey was fired because of his treatment of Hillary or talking about Hillary, Trump had endorsed Comey for that reason. And then when his administration realized that he was contradicting his own words, they said that Comey was just not running a very good FBI. It was not working out. It was in chaos. No, I'm sorry, you can't rewrite history, Trump. And we know now that you're just wiggling around like a snake in the grass, wondering why you're getting pinned down. Unbelievable. So sketchy Chinese chicken now can be sold in America, courtesy of Trump. And whatever President Xi got in return, probably this, the sale of chicken in our country, in exchange for Trump getting 38 trademarks to be allowed. Trump, this is private business, mind you. Trump trademarks, one of which is the Trump escort service in China. I have to remind everybody, he's doing business out of the White House. This is insane. And out of that, you get to eat tainted, contaminated chicken from China, which is probably filled with glyphosate and God knows what else they're using on their crops to keep them going. We didn't need to do this deal, and somehow that's what happened. Okay, Wall Street Journal, let's see. This Trump's own words add fuel to questions about the legality of firing Trump, or firing Comey. He's vastly escalated the stakes here and the potential consequences of his decision to fire Comey. Now remember, I was the one that said we should fire Comey 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Actually, before the election, I said Comey needs to step down. But now it's not an opportune time because Comey was in the middle of an investigation that I think should have happened a long time ago into Russia's involvement in Trump's campaign and how much they influenced him and how much they influenced the election. Very interesting. So the nature of this attack for ransomware is such that they send you this encryption, this threat, claiming that this is something that you would get. Oops, your files have been corrupted, blah, blah, blah. You need to make a payment, and you only have 2 hours and 23 minutes to. That's what they're trying to do. They're forcing people to make payments of $300 and up to $600 because they claim that the only way that you can fix your computer is to go with them. I mean, this is a ransomware which is common, and people are serving jail time for this stuff, but it's becoming more prolific because it's out there, and the Vault 7 leak led to it. Okay, breaking. The Justice Department has confirmed that the FBI is investigating Trump himself. It's a big, huge bombshell revelation from a filing to the Department of Justice, and this was 2 days ago. Despite Trump's vehement protests. So he is being investigated now. And the Financial Crimes Monitor is going to share in the records of the Trump-Russian probe. So we expect to see Trump's tax returns for the past 10 years forced out into the open through an indictment. That's coming. There's no reason why he's held back his tax returns, considering he said he would make them all public. That would indicate Russia's involvement in his campaign and how much they've lubed his pocket as a honeypot for their primary goal, which is controlling our country. You got a call from people saying your computer was infected and you talked. Okay. Red Velvet Chips Ahoy. I don't even know what they are. I'm not a big GMO person. No, I'm not sick. Well, I don't care if BuzzFeed is the source. They've been pretty good in the past. Just because Trump is suing them doesn't mean they're not right. You think that Trump can stop everybody from finding the truth out by threatening to sue them? You think it's okay to just say, I'm going to sue you. You can't find out anything. I'm going to sue you. That's what he does. You heard the lady that was one of 3 plaintiffs in the Trump University case? Get this. Trump finally agreed to pay out $25 million to the attorneys. The 3 plaintiffs would only get half of their tuition back. And she said, screw it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not threatening to sue everyone, just the people that are personally going after me. I wouldn't sue you. Well, apparently you led to this because you voted for Trump. I told you time and time again, he was in touch with Kissinger. And here he is sitting there, mapping out a plan to send a war in Syria, to fight a war in Syria.
Everybody knows Dr. Kissinger, and we're right now talking about Russia and various other matters. We're talking about Syria, and I think that we're going to do very well with respect to Syria. I think things are happening that are really, really, really positive. We're going to stop the killing and the death. We had a very, very good meeting with Mr. Lavrov, and it was I thought it was very, very good. What we want to do is we want to see the killing, the horrible killing in Syria stop as soon as possible. And
Okay, so he's using this as an angle to divert your attention. That's right. The shadow brokers looks like this WikiLeaks leak of the cloud. The Vault 7 leak was a complete inside job by the NSA. I'm also beginning to suspect them in this recent ransomware attack. Yeah. They're trying to destabilize and divert your attention because they're working for people that are not exactly on the up and up. I am sitting straight. I don't like Trump. I don't think he has any skills at all. In fact, I don't even think he can read. Why is Kissinger there? Because Trump is a New World Order puppet. And they're trying to divert your attention to Syria. There's never been a problem in Syria. It's been resolved. Ironically, Russia resolved the problem in Syria about 2 years ago with a massive raid on 400 populated regions. We kept sending in rebel troops and triggering all kinds of violence in that region. I like me. I trust me. I am the most trustworthy person I've ever met, and I trust me to do these things. I'm sitting straight. Trump has stolen more ideas from me than he's had of his own. He does all of his ideas, except for a few, like hating on Muslims and wanting Mexico to pay for the wall. Those were his ideas. Trump's approval rating is not getting higher. That's a lie. He's groveling with a 41% approval rating, the lowest of any president in history. He's turning this country into a laughing stock around the world. I'm beginning to believe that nobody has nukes. Yeah, my biggest concern is that nuclear explosions are fake. Yeah, because why else would Syria be an issue, and why a conventional war that could trigger a ground conflict with Russia? If there was a real nuclear parity out there on all sides, including Russia and China, I could see how we could easily become in a stalemate with countries like Russia. We would never have a conventional war against Russia. But not with, you can laugh all you want, man. I've got the millions watching. Not with the current scenario. I believe H-bombs are real because there's an exponential amount of material around the bomb that could turn into a hydrogen chain reaction. I don't need to mod people to ban me now. I can do it. So I really question the science behind the fissionable exponential reaction we call an atomic bomb. There's a limited number of molecules of uranium and plutonium in these bombs. So are we looking at dirty bombs, which is still very dangerous, don't get me wrong. But it looks to me more and more like these people think that atomic bombs aren't really a problem because that's why they want to trigger conventional wars. Henry Kissinger put together a plan early on in the 1970s called low-intensity conflict. And he's been behind this plan ever since. They're starting little fires all around the world thinking they're keeping a big fire from happening. But when in reality what they're doing is they're propping up the petrodollar to bolster the world economy's credit rating so that somehow they can continue pushing their global design, their new world order. They wanted England to prop up the European nations with the euro. That's why they were so upset that when the Brexit happened. The Fed, we can retire N8 beer. No, I don't want to turn off guest chat, then they win. When we retire the Fed after a year of paying them off, sorry, I purged your message. Then we will be able to, launch a real solution that's earmarked for American businesses. The Fed never did that. They gave companies billions of dollars to invest in overseas operations. Case in point, Caterpillar, one of the biggest American companies, now laying off people left and right, they blew it. They got $7 billion. All of that's pretty much gone. $1.5 billion went to a Chinese-Indian couple of investors. And we'll see if what happened was that the CEO of Caterpillar gave $1.5 billion to Chinese and Indian investors for a aluminum mine in Madagascar that never existed. And in response, the Caterpillar Corporation didn't even fire the CEO for losing all that money. Gone. Well, it was a Chinese and an Indian collaboration. And they lied to Caterpillar. They said that they had an aluminum mine that they were selling, and they gave the money. They gave the money to these people and never saw it again. $1.5 billion of the loan money that Caterpillar got went right out the door, and they didn't even fire their CEO. I'm going to go for none of those foods and the above. A Spade, you're eating genetically modified food. Laboratory studies showed that in 40 years of eating, basically eating food that's genetically modified for Roundup, you're going to have tumors growing in your stomach, much like the rats that were studied by Dr. Seralini. See, rats have a ratio of what happens to them in 4 months happens to us at 40 years. And in 4 months' time, Dr. Seralini took the same kind of rats that Monsanto tested, and he found that they developed tumors at 4 months, all the way to 24 months. Monsanto only tested the rats 1 to 3 months, and they never really published any results past 3 months. So Seralini won an international court, and Monsanto has to eat crap when it comes to whether their Roundup Ready genetically modified wheat and corn is safe. But you're basically poisoning yourself with that crap. I would urge you to go out and buy some non-GMO bread that's available at your market. Make some toast, put some really nice jam on it that's safe to eat, and have yourself a snack, okay? But eating that crap is going to definitely not help with your medical costs down the spring. You may have diverticulitis that'll cost you $12,000 to deal with. You may have to have a modified intestinal tract when you get older, and you'll be paying through the nose for that. Bread isn't that good for you. Yeah, you're right. Trey Gowdy officially received a call from Donald Trump FBI job. Who gives a shit whether Trey Gowdy becomes the FBI director? He'll be in a shitstorm too, just like every other Trump cabinet member. If Trey Gowdy takes that post, he's a real idiot. He'll be going down with a ship with that one. Oh yeah. Trey Gowdy, go for it. Shave your head while you're at it. We all know you don't have any hair. All I can tell you is James Comey, I wanted him fired early on, but I'll tell you, he's beginning to be a ray of hope. I never thought it was true, but I'm almost of the belief. I read the testimony James Comey made about why he finally had to reveal that there should be criminal charges against Hillary 5 days before the election, where it made him mildly nauseous. I understood his predicament. He was being told by Loretta Lynch that he couldn't reveal any of this information. Bill Clinton had pulled Loretta Lynch off at the tarmac and said, I want to make this perfectly clear. You cannot prosecute Hillary for another 24 months. I'm gonna make sure you can't do that. I mean, that alone was illegal. And then basically James Comey had to say something because nobody was allowed to prosecute Hillary. So I get why James Comey did it now. But I needed to understand his rationale. Yeah, definitely makes me mad. Yeah. Gowdy should just join the pack. He'll be going down with all the rest. This is going to be a clean sweep of his cabinet. Every one of them will be ruled unable to serve. Every one of them will have contaminated the Russian connection in the administration of Donald Trump. Every one of these people, including Pence, will have to be removed from power and possibly serve jail time. So Trey Gowdy, you want to join that little team? Go right ahead. You're walking into a crap storm, and you're going to end up facing the music because the FBI itself isn't going to like you. They're right now on the heels of investigating Donald Trump and his Russian cohorts, mob figures, and they're not going to sit there and go, well, Trey, you're going to buffalo us into doing something? We're already doing it, buddy, and there's not a damn thing he can do to stop it. The wheels are in motion, and Trump can't stop this crap storm from rolling his way. Now, when I listened to James Comey early on, I thought this guy is completely immersed in a massive amount of paybacks and corruption. But I'm beginning to wonder if he was just the pin in the cog that was trying to deliver its proper duty. But somehow, when you pull that pin out of the cog, everything starts to collapse. So we'll see. He has denied he will not testify in front of a Senate subcommittee, James Comey said, but he is, from various sources, welcoming any tapes that Donald Trump has of him to be brought forward. So now there's a new effort to get those tapes that Donald Trump alluded exist. So we're going to see a series of indictments. One, the 10 years of tax returns that Donald Trump is trying to evade from anyone from seeing because they show Russian connections. And also the simple fact that that this investigation is going to be a can of worms. And it's just going to open up everywhere. You watch. And we do know that Hillary and Podesta were making deals with the Russians. I'm not in any way giving the Democrats a pass here. Mind you, I am not a Democrat. And I will prosecute Hillary with as much vigor as I will prosecute Obama and Trump. We didn't get what we wanted when Trump became president. A lot of you wanted to see Barack Obama prosecuted. A lot of you wanted to see Hillary Clinton prosecuted. You didn't get any of that, did you? Because Trump is part of the problem. He won't prosecute any of the cronies that got us this far with our two-party corruption. You can't stop yelling. Wow, okay. Dude, I don't have any fake news. Everything I filter in our show goes through a battery of tests. Well, Java Fusion, the traders are right now in America who are protecting Wall Street, and that would be Trump, who are in bed with Goldman Sachs, with Jared Kushner as his close senior advisor. What's wrong with you people? You can't see that. You believe it's Wall Street's fault. Well, why don't you get Trump to do something about it? Because Trump is Wall Street. Okay, we have threats of violence recorded. Yeah, I'm with you. The hard set rules I've ever discovered in advance with logic and science is no pedos. Right. Okay, so we recorded the threat of violence. Yeah, Trump is part of it. All the billionaires are. WikiLeaks offers a $100,000 bounty on the Trump Comey tape. Again, WikiLeaks is I don't believe anything now at this point. I think they were behind this recent ransomware attack because they basically opened up the Vault 7 and put it on the internet, and that basically implicates them in the attack. So WikiLeaks will be prosecuted for a ransomware attack, and we'll end up having to shut WikiLeaks down at the NSA. But that's no big deal at this point. It's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, so cyber criminals mounting a massive worldwide attack. Here's how NSA secrets help them. That says it all right there. I mean, this is it right there. The NSA is WikiLeaks, and I'll tell you why. They have all the money that they could ever want because they print money. They can buy any social network. They can buy any kind of a venue on the internet, and I have it on pretty good authority that the founder of WikiLeaks, one of the founders, Julian Assange, really is buyable. I had a very interesting conversation with a person who I'm not going to name his name because if I named his name, I'd be probably considered an international spy or something, and I'm not. Some guy called me on the phone, and he said that he had information that would blow my mind. And I said, okay, let me just hear what you have to say. And the call dropped. I said, okay. So he called me back. I could barely hear this guy. And he said he was fighting through a couple of ways of getting through the phone call to me because he was outside of the country. And he told me things I just absolutely find it hard to believe. But he did tell me that Julian Assange is a guy who likes money. And he told me a lot of things about Barack Obama and how he got a speaking event at the Democratic Convention in 2004 and what he did to get that. And this guy made some pretty interesting statements that if I dug a little deeper in certain areas, I could probably find out if it's true. No, there's no way this area is a rich area. I live in a lower middle class community. I do. No, this guy was way beyond the dark net. This guy has been under house watch in Canada. Canadian Secret Service was trying to attack him and take him down. He'd had to fled the country because he had numerous indictments against him because he had uncovered a money laundering operation in Massachusetts. And he went on to talk about that. And it was just amazing, all the things that he'd gone through. And he was evading what apparently was the Canadian Secret Service from attacking him, he said. All I could do was listen to this guy. But he had some interesting points, and all of it could be very veritably investigated. Talk about the dolphins. Okay. The dolphins are dying. They're being poisoned left and right all around the world. The water that we have, the radiation coming out of Fukushima, the life cycle of fish disappearing, the dolphins are the next to go. They're higher up in the food chain. What else do you want to talk about the dolphins? About Flipper? You want to talk about Flipper? Well, he called me because he couldn't get through to anybody else. All I'm saying is he gave me information I can't verify, but he did say that Julian Assange, and he knew him personally, he said, is viable. So if Julian Assange is even alive right now, it would be amazing, because I have yet to see any real pictures of Julian Assange that haven't been faked. We know that there's been a couple of fake pictures of Julian Assange that just don't look like Julian Assange. We know that there's been a lot of fakery going on.
American mind and in the European mind. He represents American white trash. Deplorable and irredeemable. American white trash. Deplorable 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 trash. Deplorable.
So they're using a type of video morphing.
Published from the Netherlands and a number of other countries, so that the attempted squeeze.
Well, a lot of the GMO products that you're getting, genetically modified products that you're getting that are Roundup ready, were chosen because they can take in all kinds of glyphosate and still continue living. And the reason why farmers like that is because they don't like weeds, and they want to grow their food without weeds, so they get these GMO products that grow with a lot of glyphosate, and weeds don't grow. Well, essentially, there are 9 brands of weeds that are still resistant to Roundup. So they didn't really solve their problem. The 9 different weeds are still very predatory. But instead, they put lots of glyphosate on the earth. And glyphosate is the product in Roundup, which is a chelator, which will strip the paint off your car if you put it on your car. So it not only strips the paint off your car, but it also takes away your body's immune defenses. And when you're eating it, and they say 93% of our population in America has glyphosate in their urine, it is taking away your immune ability, your ability to defend against cancer. That's why there's a higher incidence of tumors when people eat Roundup and genetically modified food that's Roundup ready. Well, Pamela Anderson visiting him looks like she's a paid CIA operative, who MK Ultra victim, who was just called in to make Julian look like he's alive. So I don't believe the Pamela Sue Anderson visit as a verification that he's alive. Sorry. Dave, my wife had sex with another man again. Dude, you must be devastated. Why don't you end up divorcing her, man? She's going to continue cheating on you. Hey, thanks. You like my cooking show. Good, Shaggy. Shaggy likes my cooking show. Yeah, well, Pamela Sue Anderson didn't really give him any legitimacy, did it? I mean, if there is... What's that? What's that link to, Sophie? That's not me. Well, definitely insulate your finances from your wife. Get a separate checking account right away. You're an abused man. GMO is not natural salt science. No. I won't be meeting with Trump ever. Trump and I are opposite spectrum. I'm honest, he's dishonest. Honest people don't meet with dishonest people unless they're in court. Okay. Yeah, so CNBC did a thing. Thank you. They asked him, President Trump, if the election were held now, I would win by a lot more than I did on November 8th, he says. He says, I think we're doing a great job. But his numbers are not in that way. He brashly claims, which contradicts recent public polls that show his already low approval ratings are falling even lower, came during an exclusive interview with NBC News at the White House. Or at least NBC was allowed in to talk to him because the Russian secret news service, SAS, was in there the other day. We had a group in the other day with poll numbers that were so good, Trump said in a clip, that were so good, so strong, that if the election were held today, I would win by a lot more than I did on November 8th. And Trump did not identify the group that had those poll numbers. He just lies incessantly. What a pathetic person. Lies incessantly. And you idiot Trump tards that believe this Zionist, boy, you're really out of it. I don't have any tax returns to release. I retired 6 or 7 years ago. I don't make any money. Thank you. Bravo, Davo. Thank you for being number one. Thank you. I don't make any money. I decided to run for president, 8, 9 years ago because it was important. And I closed my business down 2 years into it. I said, this is ridiculous. I can't focus on what I'm doing when I'm taking care of ridiculous clients that really didn't want my business anyways. So I just retired early. I had enough money saved up to do it. Raja calls upon a White House counsel to turn up Trump White House tapes over to a House Oversight Committee. Wow. Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, a member of the House Oversight Committee, released the following statement in response to President Trump's tweeting earlier this morning. James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. He's painting himself into a corner. Trump is not going to be able to win this one because he's not bright. He's not intelligent. And I don't care. You can surround yourself with bright people, but that's not going to keep you from making stupid moves like tweeting idiot responses about how you got tapes that you're going to use against a former guy you fired because he was investigating you for the Russian connection. I've known Sarah for nearly 20 years now. She and I met in 1998. Well, I do the show out of the kindness of my heart because this is, for me, enjoyable. I'm not going to get into the red velvet cookie phrase. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep my weight down here. Americans are destroying their president more than ever before. He's all about making America a nation. Oh, you think Prohl, you're a Trump tard here. Prohl is here to talk about Trump. No, sorry. A Spade, you too. Trump borrowed money from the Russians to stay alive the past 10 years. You think that the do you think 2009 mortgage debacle didn't affect Trump? It did. Excuse me. Yes, can I help you? Who is this? Oh, hang on. Okay, we've got Rod on the phone. Not Rodney, but Rod. Okay. Hey, Rod.
So, what's up with Trump, man? He is going crazy lately.
Yeah.
Signing all these orders. He's got the wall building. Holy crap, guys. You know what? I actually think he's doing kind of a good job. But I'm waiting for the lunacy to start.
Oh, you haven't checked out the White House. You haven't listened to
Sorry, what was
you
that?
haven't listened to the White House itself. They've got people right now saying that he's behaving like a lunatic. You haven't heard?
I get that. Like the firing of James Comey, that's kind of weird. And I hope that Troy Gowdy actually does take over the FBI.
He'd be a fool to do
Troy
that.
Gowdy is the most honest individual in your government right now.
Well, he'd be a fool to take this on. He'd be contaminating a good record with a very dark horse, and he's going to go down with a program. Basically, everybody in his cabinet will be taking the hit for this mistake of communicating with the Russians 3 years in advance of our nation's election. Big mistake. And
I agree.
Trey Gowdy's
I
going to go
agree,
down
Dave.
with that. Why would Trey Gowdy do that? It would be career suicide. Why would Trey Gowdy take such an idiotic position when he's already set for life as a congressman?
I don't think he'll do it. He's got too much integrity right now. He's too smart. He's not going to get himself involved with any of this ludicrous activities. But I'm just saying, if he would get in there, he could break open this government like a rotten egg.
Why do you think that? I mean, he was completely ineffective against Hillary Clinton. Why do you think that?
Just from listening to him talk in his Senate hearings, he is a powerful individual.
I have not seen any real effects out of Trey Gowdy. I'm sorry, but he doesn't have any prosecutorial skills. Prosecutorial skills are lacking. He doesn't seem to be any type of it. He doesn't use logic to break down people. He allowed Hillary Clinton to stonewall him 13 hours straight in the interview. 13 hours she stonewalled him. That's not an incisive mind, Rod. That's a guy who's just bolstery and, oh, I'm going to tell you this is how it is. He could have dug in and gotten really deep into her head, but he didn't. And he's not able to do that on an extemporaneous basis. Anyway, you may like Trey Gowdy. That's your thing. I just personally think that Trump is blowing it left and right with his mouth. Do you agree that he's over-tweeted? Do you agree with that?
I think he should not be tweeting whatsoever.
I agree. Tweeting has been a disaster for him. So his expert...
When you move into the public life, especially when you're the number one guy for your country, you should have a certain amount of reservation, a certain amount of tact. And, Trump just doesn't have that. And yeah, I agree. He should definitely rein back his personal communications for the sake of the administration.
That would be smart.
I appreciate the call, Dave.
You got it.
I'm sorry we disagree on Gowdy.
Yeah.
But that's all good.
Yeah.
That's what makes this country great, that we can all agree to disagree.
Yeah, I agree. That's so true. And I want to see more of that. In my administration, I want to make sure people have the ability to question me. Now, you have the ability to question me on these phone calls. If you're not accusing me of being something I'm not, then come on, call it. Anybody can call in. All right. Thank you so much.
I think you're doing a great job, Dave.
Great.
I'm fully supportive of the third party. This needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
You need the People's Party.
We do.
And I've been a supporter right from the beginning. Even though I'm not from your country, I believe that you are doing a good thing. And I thank you for taking my call once again. I'm going to let you get back to the show.
Okay. Great. All right,
and
Rod.
Say hi to Sarah for me, okay?
I'll do that. Thanks for calling, Rod. Take it easy.
Thanks, Dave. Goodbye now.
Goodbye. Rod, not Rodney, mind you, but Rod. I like talking to people. You guys can support Trump still. I just don't want I don't want you to think that this is your venue, because I've been censored in the mainstream media for 8 years, and Trump has got nothing but a free ride from the media. He's even close friends with the CNN, the CEO in charge of CNN. He has friends who are all Ashkenazis, Trump does. And it's sad. They own the media, and the media doesn't want me in because I'm definitely not happy with the Ashkenazis that are running our government. This is a former UK spy chief that says Trump is likely owing money to Russia, which really is at the center of this storm that is constantly brewing underneath any calmness that you may think Trump has, which so far has been non-existent. Sitting there holding, a meeting with Henry Kissinger in no way allays my fears of an incompetent president. It echoes the memory of Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger as Secretary of State, and how they bungled this Watergate. investigation. The Ashkenazis are a group of people that claim to be Jewish, but there's no blood relative to Abraham. They are very, very greedy, by and large. Now, we know people that are half Ashkenazi, like David Nation. His mom's Ashkenazi. His dad's black. I'm not labeling people because they're Ashkenazis. I'm really after the greed mongers and money whores that are circulating around the Trump cabinet and the Clinton historical connections to these same money mongers. We're dealing with this level of corruption that's so great that they're able to make it so that you can't even talk about a subject called Pizzagate on Twitter or Reddit. You're not allowed to talk about Twitter. Twitter will completely knock you off your entire account if you mention the word Pizzagate, which is indicating that there is a pedophile ring in Washington, D.C., and that more should be investigated. That's what Pizzagate means. So anytime you mention that, you're immediately kicked off. That's how powerful these people are. They don't want anyone finding out about their pedophiles' ways and how they use pedophilia to manipulate politicians into voting their way. We've got a country filled with these people. We've got a real swamp in Congress and in the White House now, and we're laboring under the pressure. And as Americans, we're like, come on. Are we ever going to get a word in edgewise? Are the American people ever going to have a party? Not yet, until we build this party. Until I get some mainstream media attention, I won't be able to pull this off. We've encountered nothing but layers and layers of stop points. So much so that when Vaughn started censoring me a few years ago, we didn't get any donations at all. They stopped. Flat out stopped. And I can prove that. So, another thing that we have here on the agenda. Comey declines to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee. So that just came in. And I don't blame him for declining because the stuff is too hot, too fresh right now. He's going to have to be either subpoenaed to be in front of them, or they're going to have to grow grow a set. They're going to have to grow a set because Al Franken can't even bring himself to filing perjury charges against Jeff Sessions when he outright lied about meeting Russian ambassador. Jeff Sessions is clearly guilty of 2 gross perjury violations, which would land him 10 years in jail. And Al Franken wouldn't even do anything to stop that. Now, what's really, really, really weird here, the New Yorker has a story that's bizarre. Trump is now boasting that his impeachment will get higher TV ratings than all the other impeachments. Like that is some big thing to brag about. He wants to be known as the biggest and the best impeachment ever. Are you beginning to get the picture here? This guy is Looney Tunes. He's gone. There's something wrong with his brain. He wants notoriety when he doesn't need it. It's crazy. An impeachment trial would be huge. It would help my ratings. What an idiot. You don't have a president. You have a talk show host who thinks he's number 1 in the time slot. Spicer has asked questions if conversations with Comey were taped.
The president has nothing further to add on that. The president has nothing further to add on that. And for the third time, has nothing further to add on that. The president has nothing further to add on that. And for the third time, there is nothing further to add on that.
Trump tweeted this. James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. Journalists had questions.
Did President Trump record his conversations with former FBI Director Comey?
I assume you're referring to the tweet, and I've talked to the president. The president has nothing further to add on that.
Why did he say that? Why did he tweet that? What should we interpret from that?
As I mentioned, the president has nothing further to add on that.
Are there recording devices in the Oval Office or in the residence?
As I've said for the third time, there is nothing further to add on that.
Does he think it's appropriate to threaten someone like Mr. Comey not to speak?
I don't think that's not a threat. He's simply stated a fact. The tweet speaks for itself. I'm moving on. The president has nothing further to add on that.
He ought to put that on a recording and just stand there with a recording device and just play it back instead of talking. He's an absolute buffoon. You're a little later. Well, that's not a person that is not me, Sophie. Yeah. You're claiming that I'm an actor and I'm not. And I don't look a bit like that guy in the chin area. I did know that Sean Spicer is only 5'6". Yes. I didn't want to make a big issue of his smallness. You have a coffee cup like mine? This is one of the best things ever to come out of China, in my opinion. This design is the most durable design I've ever seen. And it fits in every one of my cars. It fits in Sarah's Honda Insight and mine, so I can take it on the road. We aren't going to be seeing Sarah right away tonight because she is involved in a couple of activities today, so she'll be coming in a little bit late tonight. I would never work for Trump. I'd be too concerned about dying. I don't trust him. Many of you don't know this, but in 1989, Donald Trump's entire casino upper echelon was in a helicopter accident in which they died. He was going to be sitting next to them in the helicopter, but he chose to take his own instead and leave an empty seat. When asked about the accident, Donald Trump's response was, "This is great press." That was his response. This is great press. Not, "I'm so sorry to have lost these men." Not, "I'm so sorry for their families." And it turns out that these men died at a time when they were going to testify in the bankruptcy hearing of Resorts International. And they didn't make it. They did not make it to that event. So, ironically, they died just a few days before they were going to testify in the case that would have probably implicated Donald Trump in some way. So don't think for a second that that goes unnoticed. When he said this is great press, when he lost his top 3 executives at the Resorts Hotel, and he had a couple other casinos at the time. So they were all being investigated, and they all died. Many of you don't know that. And right after that, the Federal Reserve bailed out Donald Trump significantly. We know that the Federal Reserve has been giving him money left and right. And it's common knowledge that Trump has been dealing with Deutsche Bank, which is a money laundering venue. I can't play the if get pitted until the end of the show because they're monetizing that now. Somebody's been sending in monetization requests to YouTube, so it's forcing me to just talk. But I can play some other music that I have, in storage. We've got a lot of good stuff. I mean, Scissor Fight's very prolific, and he's been doing some really interesting things. So. Yes, they're going to be impeaching Trump. Maxine Waters has enough signatures to get the ball rolling. So it's just a matter of time before he's put in front of the American people, and they will subpoena him for his tax returns. He won't be able to hide them anymore. Like, this is some music that he created. I put the video together. Anyway, I didn't want to make a big issue of that, but yeah, that was good music. Lots of good stuff coming out of his work that he's doing, and I appreciate the chance to play some of that music. Well, I think it's great. I think his work is remarkable. He's very experimental with music, and I think that's awesome. Renee Zellweger is in the promo because we've been lied to. I don't believe that Renee Zellweger is Renee Zellweger. I'm convinced, after detailed analysis of her, she's not the same height as Renee Zellweger. That's a fact. She's actually 5'9", and Renee Zellweger was 5'3". So there's no way she could have grown 3 inches or 4 or 5 inches. When you look at pictures of Renee Zellweger, they clearly are not the picture that we see today. Thank you. Well, this new one, I don't think, she's a bad person. I think she was just paid to do this. And she came on the scene, and when compared to they're just not the same people. I'm surprised that you can't see the difference. The noticeable difference is the nose. I mean, she has a very prominent nose, whereas Renee Zellweger has a fairly short nose and cuter nose. And I think Renee Zellweger is dead. I think the person that killed her, based on logical conclusions that I've put together, inductively logical conclusions, I believe the person who killed Renee Zellweger was probably very angry and bludgeoned her. And it was a very ugly thing, so they couldn't actually report it as a crime because it would have implicated them. That would be my logic. So she might have run across the pedophile ring in Washington or in Hollywood. She may have been involved in some cocaine activities that led her to that. These same people that handled drugs handled kids and human trafficking. But the new Renee Zellweger is not Renee Zellweger. I can definitely prove it once I get close to her and have her measured. I can't get close enough to her. All I've had is anecdotal stuff. Like, I've got photographs of her on stage that I've measured against actors like, well, I've got a clip here. I can show it to you. This is kind of a diversion, though, from our discussion. I don't want to waste your time talking about what my theories are, but it's an interesting theory. Freedom hair tonight, yeah. We've seen some of the last photographs of Renee. I've got a photograph taken recently of her standing next to, well, I think this was one of her most recent public displays. She's standing next to...
And the Oscar goes to... I'll open this up here. Not that easy. Go ahead.
Richard Tiffany... Okay, Richard Tiffany Gere right here. His middle name is Tiffany. I think that's so funny. Who would name their kid Tiffany? But whatever. Richard Tiffany Gere clearly is 5'11", and this woman is like 5'9", 2 inches shorter than Richard Gere. And that's not. There's no way she can be 5'7", or excuse me, 5'3", which is her original height on the wiki. Well, maybe she's wearing heels, whatever. Like I said, unless I can get her to a location where she's actually, I can measure her height, I can't really pursue this as an investigation. But believe me, if she's not 5'3", and I will order someone to actually measure her height, we'll actually ask her to just stand next to a measuring tape. And if she's not 5'3", she will be investigated, and this will be investigated as a missing persons case when I'm president. What happened with Monica Lewinsky is really, really tragic. And coming up at the top of the 10 o'clock hour tonight, I'm going to be playing a video that she made called The Price of Shame. She put a TED Talk together. Okay, thank you, Rupert Murdoch. All right, she put a TED Talk together, and here's Monica Lewinsky, the new Monica Lewinsky, and she is literally the same person. I believe that this is Monica Lewinsky, but she has a full reveal, and it's not pretty, and she doesn't paint a pretty picture about the Clintons.
We're both public and private people. The consequences for some have become dire, very dire.
Her entire life, I'm 6'4". Her entire life was turned upside down by what happened to her during this time period. And she goes on and she talks about it at length. So I'm going to watch this with you for the first time. I haven't seen it. But The Price of Shame, it's called. That'll be coming up at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. So if you want to come back and watch the show then, you can watch it then. But I can't record this. I've never said anything like that. That's a misquote. We've got a lot of people around the world supporting us. Yeah, Renee Zellweger talked about the real reason why her face looks different on the Daily Mail. Yeah. Claiming different cosmetic surgery rumors are not true. Yeah. This is, she's clearly a tall woman here. She's 5'9". You can see that. That's not a 5'3" woman. So they can't explain the height differential. And I saw her new movie. This woman is an excellent actress. She's done a really good job impersonating her voice and her mannerisms, but it's not her. And I don't even think this woman should be implicated. Whoever did this hired a professional actress to impersonate her, and no doubt to cover up a murder. All right, Rupert Murdoch wants full ownership of Broadcast Sky. Oh, okay. Broadcaster Sky. As part of British media regulator Ofcom's investigation into the takeover. Sexual harassment and discrimination facing Murdoch's Fox News in the U.S. He said to an interview, so we paid him a surprise visit.
Rupert, it's about Roger for the BBC. Are you worried about Ofcom at all? No.
Yeah.
Hello?
You should be worried about BBC as well.
I should be worried. Are you worried about the Ofcom deal and what this Fox scandal might do for Ofcom?
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns about what Ofcom might say about what's happening at Fox News?
I think
that's what's right.
All right, yeah, and do you see how Rupert Murdoch counter-threatened him, kind of like Trump? He said, you should be worried about BBC, meaning your job's at stake here, buddy. This is how these bigwigs operate. They actually think that they're above the law. And they turn around and they threaten people constantly whenever they're accused of something. It's unbelievable. Now, enraged Californians are... Enraged Californians are really upset because Governor Brown's going to have a massive tax hike on cars and gas to pay for his excessive spending at the state level. It's crazy. How White House staff reacts in real time as Trump tweets. Jesus. Okay. Okay. Flacking for a man who can change his mind at any moment is proving to be a tactical minefield for the White House press office. It was 7:51 Eastern Time on Friday, a.m., and the president was angrily tweet-storming again. This time it was about fake news, the Russians, China, and beef, James Comey and the tapes, and his sometimes hapless White House staff. As a very active president has lots of things happening, it's not possible for my surrogates to stand at podium with perfect accuracy, he says. Maybe the best thing to do would be to cancel all future press briefings and all hand out written responses for the sake of accuracy. After a brief pause to check Twitter, the senior Trump aide informed of the unfolding rant responded, Jesus. This morning's tirade was the latest in a series of migraine-inducing actions endured by the president's press team this week, who have faced the wrath of the president's anger over their handling of Trump's botched and bungled firing of FBI Director James Comey. Everything Trump does right now is a botched, mishandled waste of time. We need to get traction on our country. We need to grow jobs. And now he's just swimming in a storm of controversy over everything I said was clinging to him when he became president. And I've been predicting this for a long, long time. I don't know where Rupert was, nor do I care. The guy is obviously way too rich for his own good. He is one of those media moguls that controls the mainstream media and prevents people like me from being heard. So we actually hand-delivered a press kit to Sean Hannity's house in 2008. One of our supporters lives down the street from Sean Hannity, and he hand-delivered it to his house, knowing full well Sean Hannity got information about what we were doing. We didn't so much as get an email. Yeah, good luck with your court case. I will sue the crap out of you. I will countersue the crap out of you because you're going to have to put your real name in the court case. And when I see your real name, we're going to be looking at a stalking law. And that stalking law is a mandatory 5-year prison sentence in the state of Washington. All right? I don't know. Sean Hannity is not a bad guy. He's just a puppet, you know, like Trump. Trump, however, may be a bad guy. I don't know. Believe me, I've got attorneys ready to go if I need them. I just don't want to tap into my savings to finance an attorney. It's ridiculous. But I'll do it if I have to. Mr. Rupert, who wants to take over skies over in the U.S., talking with billionaires, trust meter 0. There you go. They don't trust Rupert. He's going to be investigated by a UK regulator. I don't want to look at his face.
I can now tell the House that today I have issued a European intervention notice on the grounds of media plurality and commitment to broadcasting standards. I have written to the parties, Ofcom and the Competition and Markets Authority, informing them of my decision. I am of the view that it remains both important, given the issues raised, and wholly appropriate for me to seek comprehensive advice from Ofcom on these public interest considerations and from the CMA on jurisdiction issues. I note that, overall, the parties have welcomed a thorough regulatory review, and that is what will now happen as a result of the intervention notice I have issued.
The problem with big media moguls is they think they can get away with anything. Somebody said sit up, so I'm sitting up now with my back straight. Yes. Sitting up straight, and now I'm being accused of strutting my chest around like a big man. I can't win with you people. I do have some enviable pecs, it's true. I can't help it. I work out all the time. So I'm going to spray my face with a little bit of my my fruit enzyme, if that's okay. Thank you. Kind of freshens me up. I would love a white jacket. I like the kind of jacket and suit that John Lennon had. No, ticking time bags. The whole MO of people like, well, the whole MO of people that commit acts of criminality is that they want to do it in front of you. One of the postulates in criminology classes is that people learn this all the time, is that the criminal always goes back to the scene of the crime. Always. Yeah. So if there's anybody trying to cover their ass, they're going to say something that tries to normalize their behavior. Like a pedophile technically will go out and tell people that he likes to be around children because children are really nice. And it's okay to be a scoutmaster even though he doesn't have any kids of his own. That's the kind of behavior a pedophile engages in. Or like Rex Tillerson, the current Secretary of State, who openly did not investigate or even prosecute one case of child molestation when he was president of the Boy Scouts for 20 years. Openly decided that he wanted more homosexuals to be scoutmasters in the Boy Scouts to further justify his lack of prosecution of all the pedophiles that had been before him. Now, I'm not accusing Rex Tillerson of being a pedophile. I don't have any proof of that. But I do have proof that he was president of the Boy Scouts for 20 years and didn't prosecute one case of pedophilia. And there were like 17,000 cases listed. So that's just an indication of how these people operate. I have a story that I'm going to bring you from last night, which is extremely disturbing. It's exactly what we're talking about, is how people like to flaunt what they do. Well, this is a story about John Podesta allegedly being involved in Justice Scalia's murder. Did John Podesta just tweet out an admission to Justice Scalia's murder? This is interesting. John Podesta just wrote Donald Trump the day that he fired James Comey. He said, "Didn't you know you're supposed to wait till Saturday night to massacre people investigating you?" Well, it turns out Anthony Scalia was killed on a Saturday night. Now, many people think, well, Scalia didn't die he died from natural causes. Well, we only know that because there was no investigation and no autopsy. So John Podesta made a very interesting statement there. And when we look at another email that he delivered that WikiLeaks exposed, John Podesta made a statement back during the time when Justice Scalia was killed, because I call it a murder and a cover-up. Sounds like it'll be a bad night. Or he says, "I'm all in." This is a direct quote from Podesta in an email that came out through the WikiLeaks. He says, "I'm all in. Sounds like it'll be a bad night. We all need to buckle up and double down." And below that it says, now check this out. This is really implicating. He's definitely in need of an investigation. I'm going to blow up this sentence right here. This is what he wrote the day, 4 days before Scalia died. "Didn't think wet works meant pool parties at the vineyard." Now, wet works, by the way, is a slang term for murder or assassination. Okay? And it turns out the place that Scalia died, the Cibola Creek Ranch, has a vineyard and a pool, a very large pool. So this tweet has a lot of meaning 4 days before the death of Justice Scalia. So we're beginning to wonder. We were beginning to wonder that the alleged charges about pedophilia and Podesta and his brother Tony have not been investigated. Well, I just gave you the link. You can look into this. This is pretty powerful stuff. This is why people go to our show, because you don't see this in the mainstream media at all. And we get these links from people who submit this every night, so we're kind of a conduit for information. And let's not forget that Jerry Sandusky and all these people involved with him are still covering his tracks. And there was no expanded investigation into Sandusky's behavior. Now, remember when the former Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, was tried? He settled out of court with the judge for 1.5 years of prison for anally raping 4 boys when he was a wrestling coach. Okay? I doubt anybody in the country is in 15 months, 16 months, 18-month detention for anally raping 4 boys, except for Dennis Hastert. It turns out Dennis Hastert is close childhood friends with Tony Podesta, John Podesta's friend, a brother rather. And Tony Podesta has some pretty weird artwork in his house that many people are saying is very, very suspicious. His sculptures that he has hanging in his living room is now public knowledge. Everybody sees it. It happens to be a living, it's actually a gold embossed version. And here's Tony standing above his sculpture. It's a gold embossed version of the body found in Jeffrey Dahmer's home. Now I'm going to pull the body off. You can see that, but that's what the body looks like. That was the body. And that's something that Tony Podesta, John Podesta's brother, really likes, and he thinks it's a cool sculpture. So yeah, many people believe that Andrew Breitbart was killed. And many people believe it could be because he said things about Podesta. Now, all I'm saying is there are allegations that the Podestas were involved in an abduction of a girl named Madeleine McCann in Portugal in 2007. It turns out that their faces are identical to the wanted poster for the men they're seeking in the disappearance of this woman, who's now an 18-year-old woman, if she's alive. We don't even know, because many people believe that she was a child that was killed, tortured and killed. Anyway, the bottom line really is there's 50,000 dead kids every year that are missing in America, not just the world. The world is an even bigger number. 50,000 kids gone in this country every year. We don't know what happened to them, and the government doesn't seem to care. And they won't follow up on any of these things because a lot of the parents of these kids are poor white trash. And ironically, many of them are living in Virginia. The highest number of abductions are Virginia in the country. The states have the worst, it's Virginia. But yet Virginia is the lowest number of pedophile arrests of any state. So what is going on, and why is the government not investigating this? These are questions I would be asking James Comey under oath. Why he didn't investigate this more often. Yeah, we just got the link of him saying there's nothing happening at Fox News. Yeah. Rupert isn't really a story anymore. I mean, when he bought MySpace, that was kind of a joke. But why would he give $50 million to a guy for MySpace and do nothing with it? Power J says that Natalie Wood was found Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken in bed hours before her death. That's the theory, that they were having a homosexual relationship. Both Christopher Walken and Wagner have not actually publicly spoken about this to the police. Now that really reeks of complicity right there. Why haven't they been questioned about the death of Natalie Woods? How come there's no testimony? All of that's very suspicious. So these people who have so much power, we'll stop the N-word anytime we can, yeah. Stop the N-word, man. Yeah, don't use the N-word here. I'm going to ban him. Yep. Thank you. I would make you a mod, but I don't need mods. Thanks for asking, though. Nope. In fact, BuzzFeed is just one of many sources. I certainly look for information, but it's not my primary source. Thanks. And I'm not ruling out BuzzFeed because Donald's going to sue them. It's ridiculous. You think that everybody Donald sues is somehow wrong? You stand by your Donald like you were standing by your dick. You grab onto it thinking it would somehow grow bigger, and all you've got is this limp, flaccid president. It's kind of funny how you Trump-tards are. You're like guys that brag about how you conquered all these women and you can't even get it up. I've seen people like you. I'm sorry, but I've said a word that is commonly known to represent a penis, okay? All right, now we're going to talk about other things besides body parts and dead bodies and children missing. I mean, a lot of this is getting really disgusting. Let's watch Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer zooming through streets of Manhattan. This is something I've been waiting to see. Good Morning America had this. Good morning, Vietnam. Somebody has a podium going down the street looking like Sean Spicer.
Keep working, sir.
That's hilarious. I heard he was hiding in the bushes. My cup is getting emptier every second because I've been nursing the last few drops of a cup of coffee. So I'm going to get up and get another cup. Normally I get a break by now, but Sarah has a long night tonight. Believe it or not, I have one little bit drop left, and I got to go for another refill. All right. No, I don't. I'm not going to be doing an open campaign. I get 50 death threats every single day. Or excuse me, I get 50 death threats a month. I get 3 a day. And I can't go out on a campaign trail now. And I've said emphatically, we're going to be running the campaign from my home studio for the next 3 years because I'm literally unable to go anywhere with a security team in place. Is she running against Oprah? Really? Rosie's kind of a radical left-wing person. Rosie actually wants martial law. She said that. And I stopped tweeting Rosie because of that. Many people don't realize that martial law is exactly what the elitists want. They want to take over our country. No, I'm not necessarily in danger. I just think it's foolish of me to go out on the streets when people want to kill me. Is Randy Quaid still in the run?
For the past 20 years, my wife Abby and I have been the victims of criminal activities perpetrated by a small network of individuals who are out to destroy us personally, professionally, and financially.
Who killed them? They all named David Carradine, who was found hanged in a Bangkok hotel room, and Heath Ledger, who had drug overdosed, were victims of the same murderous conspiracy.
Why don't you guys just start by telling me, how has life been for you? You've been on quite the roller coaster of late. What's going on now?
And now,
Well, this is good. Yeah, I know that when Randy Quaid endorsed Trump, I lost interest in him. So I really want to see this. Thanks for that link. It looks good for tonight. I'll tell you how I'm operating now with my new computer. Number one, I'm not using browsers like Firefox anymore. I'm using a new browser called Epic. It uses the Chrome browser as a backbone, but it's very, very tight security. And Epic screens everything. And then if I get a good link, I go back and copy it in Chrome itself and then save it on my playlist. We definitely want to body slam the riffraff, yeah. Soccer trivia, huh? Okay, Donald Trump's state of mind has been qualified as white hot this morning. He throws things around. Meow TV says, keep yelling even alone in a room. Shows all symptoms of a psychotic episode. He's ready to nuke anything that pisses him off. Even the USA. Do be handled with caution. Well, thank you for that warning, Meow TV. And even the NSA's, what do you mean by int af NSA? So you like Epic too? Cool. And Chrome is the most stable browser in existence. I agree. And believe me, I'm not doing Awesome Carl's voice. I really believe that that having to take safeguards to, when monitoring the internet, you have to just stop whatever's coming at you. Because I had 3,000 malware attacks on that other computer. And I finally got it to actually function. It's back to normal now. And I didn't have to reload Windows 7. But this is a mutant sheep found to have a mouth growing in its ear, complete with teeth and a swallowing reflex. See the mouth? And it has a little swallowing capacity there. Yeah. So if your mutant sheep are eating too much because they're eating things out of their ear, that's why. It's the known mutation of the ear mouth job. You're using Opera. It's using Chromium now, but more reliable than Firefox. Yeah. Doesn't crash like Google Chrome on my browser. Okay. Well, you know who created Opera? One of the guys created it, actually started his own other website called Vivaldi. And Vivaldi is a pretty cool, customizable browser. I just haven't checked it for this use. Nope, my primary information is not BuzzFeed. That's a lie. New hepatitis C infections triple due to an opioid epidemic. It's from CNN. They cover the story. 23 million on UHF tonight. Thanks, Ozarks. Welcome, viewers. Getting the news through the information stream of America's third party. Al Franken's a joke. He's not even funny anymore. And if he doesn't pursue perjury charges against Jeff Sessions, Al Franken won't even make it to the 2020 election. You have Vivaldi, it's kind of sluggish. Okay, well, that's good to know. I want reactive and fast. So I'm keeping this new computer really clean. I'm not even putting other programs on it. And I have the ability to, now take in 50 links and not slow down, which it was worth $700 to buy an Intel i7 6th generation chip with 16 gigs of RAM and a terabyte hard drive. Oh, I don't see Sandusky fan in here right now. Sorry. He's not appearing in the... Hang on. Okay. We're going to mute you, Sandusky fan. Do not use the N-word in here. Thank you. Many Canadians who love you, 912 and 997, keep attacking along with you. Thank you, Mystify Me. Appreciate it. I don't know. Dennis Miller probably is sitting in a bar somewhere talking to somebody just like he does. He's really good at that. Doesn't he do sports still? Does he do Monday Night Football, Dennis Miller? I haven't watched Monday Night Football in 7 years. So I don't know. He might be in the chat. Okay, so this new hepatitis outbreak has happened to this woman.
News that was certainly surprising and also very disturbing.
I called my primary care doctor and she did blood work because I thought I had Alzheimer's. It really affected me like that. And she called me and asked me to come in, and then she told me that I had hepatitis C.
As a woman who had been very healthy all her life, it was a diagnosis that completely shocked her. But it really shouldn't have, because it's a diagnosis that's happening more and more frequently these days.
I don't know. I didn't want to get into the woman's opiate use, but yeah, people who are exchanging needles, heroin addicts, and there's more of them than ever before because heroin's cheap. If Philip Seymour Hoffman went out and bought 500 damn bags of heroin the day he died. They have him on camera. Dennis Miller, how you doing? I'm doing great, babe. How you doing, man? I really liked your work on Saturday Night Live, Dennis. Good job. Of course, I liked Dan Aykroyd, too, the original stars. No, Seymour Hoffman's dead. Philip Seymour Hoffman died of an overdose of heroin. And I tend to believe that he was killed. Now, he's on record going to 4 or 5 Versatel or ATMs that night with people in the background, but we didn't know who. And there was never an investigation into his murder. I tend to believe they killed him. I believe that he was clean and sober. He would never have done this. I think they extorted the money out of him, forced him to buy the heroin, and overdosed him. He was a great actor. And I think Philip Seymour Hoffman was onto something. I've done some background investigation into his Twitter responses before he died. He was onto something. Very sketchy, but he was onto something. He may have run across that same group that end up, the whack job people, the star whacker groups. Yeah. He may have been a victim of forced overdose. Yep, star whacker. So that story that we're going to be playing later tonight, does raise a question about Randy Quaid. Is he still running? Is he still behind an attack on he and his wife, Ebby? Is the Star Whacker story legitimate? Was he forced to shut down the story in order to save his financials? I'm investigating things just out of, random interest because I'm wondering. I think a lot of you do time on the internet and become investigators on your own. Flaming Lips, There Should Be Unicorns. Official music video. Okay. Flaming Lips, how can you not win with that kind of a name? Well, we'll watch that a little bit later when I don't get monetized. So this was a big story today. You know, obviously Sean Spicer's not working out and his replacement isn't working out. So Trump threatens to cancel White House briefings. It's not possible for his staff to speak with perfect accuracy.
I was going to fire Comey.
The president had lost confidence in Comey.
He took the recommendation of his deputy attorney general.
You had already made the decision.
Oh, I was going to fire regardless of recommendation.
So there was really
He made a recommendation. He's highly respected.
When you receive a report that is so clear and a recommendation by someone like the Deputy Attorney General, you have no choice but to act.
Based on the conversation that they had on Monday, he asked them to put that recommendation in writing, but they came to him on his own.
This man is the President of the United States. He acted decisively today. He took the recommendation of his deputy attorney general, who oversees the FBI directory.
It was all him.
It was all him.
That's correct. I mean, I can't. No one. I should say that. Thank you for the help on that one. No one from the White House. That was a DOJ decision.
Oh yeah, contradicting it left and right. Sean Spicer contradicting the statements that Kellyanne Conway said, left and right. The fact that he even took a recommendation to fire Comey from the Attorney General's office makes the firing illegal. Trump may have broken the law because, frankly, you can't fire somebody who's investigating you. Former Trump advisor Paul Manafort's bank records sought in the probe. This is going to get good. It's going to heat up. We knew this was coming. Wall Street Journal has this story. The Justice Department last month requested banking records of Paul Manafort as part of a widening probe related to Trump's former campaign associates, whether they colluded with Russia in interfering with the 2016 election, according to people familiar with the matter. Manafort's banking records from Citizens Financial Group is under investigation. All I'm saying right now is that this is going to go on and on until we get to the bottom of it. It's not going to go away for Trump. This is our country at stake. He thinks he can do business in the White House and not have to face conflict of interest laws. He thinks he can do a deal where you're going to eat tainted, toxic chicken from China so that Trump can get 38 trademarks in his name in China so he can continue doing business. One of those is the Trump escort service. Yeah, I do need a cup of coffee. You're right. I just want to play a good video. I know a lot of you are kind of feeling this way, you know. Why am I so attractive? I wasn't trying to be attractive. I was born this way. I can't help it. I owe you an apology. No, I said no use of the N-word here. That's not an no need for an apology. I gave you a chance to be here. Okay. Why it's likely that Trump does have recordings of his Oval Office conversations. And I said this earlier. I'll play the video. Thank you. I said this earlier. Obama was interviewed by somebody, and the reporter didn't have the recording device on, and he said to the Obama intern that was helping him, you know, could I guess I lost the conversation. He said, no problem. We have a transcript. We'll send it to you. So they recorded everything in Obama's cabinet. Why wouldn't they record it in Trump's cabinet? JFK was a big, huge recording guy. He liked to record his talks and everything. We all know about Richard Nixon's conversations. We have copies of them now. But we're still missing that 17 minutes that that Woods got rid of. His secretary, Nixon's secretary. So yeah, this should be interesting. Why is it likely that Trump does have recordings of his Oval Office? Yeah, and Comey says he wants to hear it. James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. Well, if Donald Trump even knew that they record everything in the White House, he'd be a better president, wouldn't he? This video is not available. Oh, I wanted to play it so bad. So this gives you a history of the taping. And here's LBJ talking about his bunghole.
Mr. Hager?
Yes, this is Joe Hager.
Joe, is your father the one that makes clothes?
Yes, sir. We're all together.
You all made me some real lightweight slacks that he just made up on his own, sent to me 3 or 4 months ago. It's a kind of a light brown and a light green, rather soft green and soft brown.
Yes, sir.
And they're real lightweight. Now, I need about 6 pairs for summer wear.
Yes, sir.
I want a couple, maybe 3 of the light brown, kind of a almost powder color, like powder on a lady's face. Then there was some green, and then maybe some other light pair. If you had a blue in that or black, I'd have 1 blue and 1 black. I need about 6 pairs to wear around in the evening when I come in from work. And I need they're about a ½ inch too tight in the waist.
Do you recall the exact size? I just wanted to be sure we get them right for you.
No, I don't know. You all just guessed at them. I think so, but wouldn't you have the measurements there?
We'll find them for you.
I can send you a pair. I want them a ½ inch larger in the waist than they were before, except I want 2 or 3 inches of stuff left back in there so I can take them up. I vary 10 to 15 pounds a month.
All right, sir.
So leave me at least 2.5, 3 inches in the back where I can let them out or take them up, and make these a ½ inch bigger in the waist. Make the pockets at least 1 inch longer. My money and my knife and everything fall out. Wait just a minute. Hello?
Hello.
Now, the pockets, when you sit down in the chair, the knife and your money comes out, so I need it at least another inch in the pockets.
Fine.
Yeah. Now, another thing, the crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight. So when you make them up, give me an inch that I can let out there, because they cut me. They're just like riding a wire fence. These are the best that I've had anywhere in the United States. But when I gain a little weight, they cut me under there. So leave me, you never do have much margin there. But see if you can't leave me about 1 inch from where the zipper ends, round under my, back to my bunghole.
All right, then.
So I can let it out there if I need to. Now, be sure you got the best zippers in them. These are good that I have. And if you get those to me, I would sure be grateful.
Where would you like to send, please?
White House.
Fine.
Now, I don't guess there's any chance of getting a very lightweight shirt, sport shirt, to go with that slack, is there? That same color?
We don't make them, but we can have them made up for you.
If you might look around, I wear about a 17. Extra long.
Do you like it in the same fabric?
Yeah, I sure would. I don't know whether that's too heavy for a shirt or not.
I think it'd be too heavy for a shirt.
I sure want the lightest I can in that same color of matching it. If you don't mind, you figure out somebody up there that makes good shirts and get me one to match each one of them, and if they're good, we'll order some more.
Fine.
I just sure will appreciate this. I need it more than anything, and now that's about it. I guess I could get a jacket made out of that if I wanted to, couldn't I?
No, I think that did Mr. James Hager have a jacket made?
Yeah, he sent me some jackets for some earlier, but they were way too short. They hit me up about halfway down my belly. I had a much longer waist. But I thought if they had material like that and somebody could make me a jacket, I'd send them a sample to copy from.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you will send us this, we'll find someone to make it.
Okay.
We can supply the material to match it.
Okay, I'll do.
Now, LBJ was really a classic turncoat, two-faced political power monger. I mean, this guy, he would defecate in front of his aides. He had his aides standing next to him while he defecated. I don't know. It could be eating chicken from cats for all I know. Hi. Sarah is a person who has her own life. She really, I really encourage her to do her thing. I think it's great. Sarah is wonderful. And when she gives me help on the show, when she's not doing her thing, it's even better. But, I don't mind taking time, extra time in my show to, get my own coffee. It's not a big deal. Here's a dad who takes out on the San Diego Unified School District, no Islam in our school. Let's listen to this, because this Common Core is pushing Islam in schools.
I've had to chop my speech up pretty well to fit your guys' 1 minute time constraints. My name's Christopher Wyrick. I'm a resident of San Diego. I'm a taxpayer, a father, and a husband, and a very, very proud American. Over the years, I've had many titles. One of them I will not accept is infidel. There has been an argument over the years to keep religious beliefs out of school, especially any that happen to be associated with Judaism or Christianity. So at what point did you decide that it was okay to teach my children about Islam? If you're going to take a stance on any religion in school, then that stance needs to be firm against all religions. Your protective class reports from July 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016 accounted for states that there were 7 incidences regarding religion. Number 4 on the list accounting for 11% of those reports. If you further separate these incidences down into religious sects, then those numbers fall drastically. So how does your board justify spending our tax dollars on a program that's meant to educate our kids on the Muslim religion specifically, yet only accounts for a very, very small portion of the harassment reported? Have you, pardon me, it's the first time I've ever been up.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so I've seen your reports, and it amazes me that you've allowed CARE to come into our public schools and begin to implement pro-Islam curriculum. What's next? Teaching them about the 5 pillars or the conversion prayer?
Okay, thank you very much.
Dude, I'm going to go. You're going to have to drag me out of here. Is that what you consider educating? How does your organization like CARE with ties to terrorists like Hamas have an ear of this board?
Sir, we've got to ask you to
whatever.
conclude.
How does you actually allowing them to implement its propaganda and hate speech into our schools in an effort to brainwash the minds of the young? The Muslim and its followers have gracefully hidden their political agenda under the veil of religion. Yeah, I get it, you guys. You know what? You guys are hypocrites, and you guys should protect your children.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I was just informed that the man is a white supremacist. In no way am I endorsing white supremacists. But there's no reason why our country should be constantly forced to teach our children about Muslims. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand, why we have to have the largest firm that handles the scholastic material for schools in the United States is Pearson Publications, run by 2 Libyan Muslims who have an agenda. Why would we allow this? So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why Obama is being repealed and rescinded. But we don't need Donald either. He wants to take away the rights of Muslims to practice religion. In a country that's dedicated to freedom of religion, it's an anathema. It's wrong for us to do that. But we should prosecute anyone engaging in jihad-like activities or Sharia law. So Donald Trump ironically made the jihad political this past week. Donald Trump just announced that anyone who's got a religion can create a political party. You can bring religion into politics now. So many of the jihadists who want to have a jihadist party in America can do that now. So he's created a real problem for himself, and it's a complete violation of our Constitution and the interpretation of the separation of church and state. I don't want refugees in our country. I have a no refugee stance. But I have to build an infrastructure to deal with that. Donald Trump didn't understand that. He just said no to anybody with a green card, which is screwing up our airports and screwing up our immigration litigation going on here. So the United Church of the Jihad will be formed in Dearborn, Michigan, I'm sure, any day now. And they'll probably force a political party on everybody. Thanks, Donald. You're working in the wrong direction, buddy.
And some high school seniors.
Yearbook confiscated over students' use of a Trump quote. Okay. We'll see how unpopular Trump is.
seniors won't have much to remember this year because, well, their yearbooks just got confiscated. A North Carolina high school taking back the books over what they consider to be controversial quotes, including one that reads, "Build that wall." The phrase, of course, used by President Trump in his campaign. Some students calling them offensive. Parents now firing back, saying the school should have read over the quotes before they were printed.
I just don't believe in censorship. I think they should be allowed to write "build that wall." I mean, I said build a fence in 2008 and ran with that concept, and Donald stole it and said build that wall. And he stole the 1,000-mile number that I put out there in 2008. And then he was asked, how are you going to pay for this big wall? And he said, we're going to have Mexico pay for it. Yeah, sure. What an idiot. Why would Mexico pay for a wall on our side of the border? I mean, what a moron. This is how he operates. As a businessman, this is how he operates. The woman that did the catering for the Marla Maples wedding with Trump and Marla Maples, she never got paid. Trump refused to pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars for the catering, right? Well, I'm getting worried too, but Sarah said she'd be running late. And I'll call her at 9. She said she'd be running very late tonight. So she warned me in advance. She's got a lot of activities she's doing. A lot of people are pulling her in different directions. Sarah is, I believe, a very, very liked person in her field of teaching. And she really likes to please people. And in the process, she can get involved with a lot of people in various activities. And yeah, I think she's being pulled in different directions. And I don't want to be the person to take her into our show, which I've been doing for 9 years, going on 9 years, and say, you know, Sarah, I really need you in here. It's okay. I don't mind. I really don't. She needs her own life. And frankly, this is not her interest. This was my interest in the very beginning. I'm the reason why this party's even moving forward. I'm the reason why I keep doing the show. Sarah would have dropped the show after 600 shows. I'm in this way longer than that. We're going on 3,000 shows. You're on Moringa? Isn't that Tahitian Moringa plant that people drink from? You know, Sarah is a very calming person too. She said she calmed everybody down the other night. And I really like that quality about her. She calms me down too. Jeff Boston says, thank you again, Von Long, for not logging me in here. Good evening, Jeff. You had a problem getting in, huh? I'm okay with Sarah doing whatever she wants with work. I own an Xbox 360, yes. Well, I don't want to track Sarah with a phone app. That's kind of weird. I have a friend that, no lie, he's actually purchases phones for people he wants to date, and he gives them the phone. And then he tracks them without their knowledge. Isn't that weird? It's the sickest, weirdest thing anyone would ever do, I think. I said, that is so wrong. He uses that app to track people that he's interested in. I mean, it's like, dude, you're never going to meet a woman. Why don't you date a transgender or something? Why would anyone want to track somebody you're just meeting for the first time? They're not going to take you seriously. Control freak. I don't play games. I have not played Xbox 360 in over a year. Twitch has banned me, so I don't have a need to play Xbox 360 and do a show. Like I said, Sarah is not the motivation behind this whole show. When I started this 9 years ago, Sarah didn't want to hear me talk. She really wanted me to stop talking politics with her. And instead of taking it, they banned me inappropriately. I'm going to take that. I'm going to definitely go after Twitch later on because they have toss rules. They claim I'm a homophobe. When all I did was I asked people to stop calling me gay because I'm not gay. And I said it was sexual harassment, and they immediately called me a homophobe. and that's a bannable offense according to their TOS rules. I mean, it's ridiculous. How can you ban somebody for defending themselves and their heterosexuality? It's unbelievable. No, we don't want to give her any curfews. She's welcome to come back. I mean, if she doesn't come back by 9, I will call. And then I'll get worried. But right now, I'm not going to get worried or call. Anyway. Got to clean up some things that are on my docket right now. My Ustream channel is kind of parked. I'm not sure what's going on there. Trump has requested $800 billion in cuts in Medicaid, food stamps, and Social Security. So that's something that, before he's impeached, he'll try to do. Shouldn't affect you because the money will keep pouring to Medicaid, Medicare, because we haven't figured out how to stop it. I know I can do it. Maybe when I believe that the Connect box, when you read the fine print on your Connect system, does allow them to watch you and record your activities without you knowing. So you may want to read the fine print on Connect, and definitely cover the camera part when you're not using it with a piece of masking tape. I don't hate transgenders, Oswald. I never have said anything negative about transgenders. We don't talk about this Eric guy. He's been stalking our show for about 6 years now. I just think the country is kind of like this caricature of this person. It's like, what else is coming our way? I mean, it just keeps coming with Trump. Is there time at the moment? There's time at the moment. Go ahead, Fester. I'm surprised when you have Windows 10, you have to shut off its communication with Microsoft. Because even your keystrokes are being monitored by Microsoft, which is a big, huge security risk. I like you, Oswald. I never said I dislike transgenders. I've never said that. Well, the fact that keylogger software exists makes us all very vulnerable. Anybody could click an executable file in an email from a friend and say, "Oh wow, this is nice." There's a new thing happening aside from this ransomware that's happening. There's a new thing where they send a Google document and they say, "Oh, we want to get your opinion about this Google document," and it comes from somebody you know. I'm on CoQ10 too. I like it. I've never felt better than my CoQ10. I don't take a lot of it. I take it intermittently, but if you ever feel weak or unable to do exercise, try taking a CoQ10. You'll find it pumps you up like 20%. It's an ingredient your heart needs to be running effectively. Well, keylogger is definitely a software that could very well, if you hit an executable file thinking it's perfectly safe, you can definitely, get something sent to remote email addresses whenever you do anything like passwords. One of the things that I always avoid doing is allow the computer to know your password. I don't use software that gives me a set password. I never allow the computer to record my password internally. That's just a safeguard to avoid. Always say never. Can I spell my password for you? Sure. Password. Oh no, I risked my security. I take that back. Some people use the word password. They say Hillary Clinton was using the word password for her password for a long time. An anti-keylogger, really. Key Scrambler, Personal, Professional, and Premium. Apps that protect against keylogging. I did not know this existed. Key Scrambler, qfxsoftware.com. Yeah, you definitely need a layer of self-defense, I'll tell you. It's getting ridiculous. The personal one covers 38 browsers. The other one has email clients and VoIP clients, music programs, online games. I think the personal free one sounds like a good thing to get. I might just consider that. Thank you. Sarah's dinner is going to wait. Everything seems a little out of place. She said she'd be real late tonight. The name of the vitamin I take, CoQ10. I was trying a product called biotin, and I don't recommend taking it unless it's small dosages. I think it's a little bit too active. It can make you grow hair in weird places. I don't know if I trust it, but I'm sure it's okay in small dosages. But CoQ10 is really good. When you start growing hair out of the tip of your nose, and that's when you have to trim it and shave it. That didn't happen to me, but I mean, I don't take drugs. These are strictly vitamins. There's a strong plan, a propaganda plan to make it seem like vitamins are worthless. And I believe it's coming out of the very people that want us to get sick. Because ever since vitamins came on board, people have been feeling healthier. Yet there's studies that say that blah, 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 they go through your body, they don't digest, they don't really make a difference. I just think that vitamins are our only defense against high medical costs. I don't think there's any other way you can protect your body unless you build your immune system. And what better way than you have nose hairs? Well, I'm not talking about nose hairs inside. I'm talking about them coming out of your tip of your nose. Whatever. Doctors want you on meds. They don't want you getting natural cures and smoking some marijuana and feeling, wow, I feel better somehow. Some people have really benefited from smoking marijuana. I'm not urging you to do it if you've never done it, and you can't do it in states that are illegal. But I got to tell you, this is a miracle herb. People have been benefiting left and right from legalization. People with Parkinson's, epilepsy. We played a bunch of videos on our show about how they get immediate relief from their symptoms. They stop shaking with epilepsy. With Parkinson's, they stop shaking. They get control of their body. It's weird. And they're not even taking psychoactive THC. They're taking cannabinoid oil in a spray form or rubbing it on their foot. They have a roll-on for kids who have epilepsy. And there's no psychoactive elements in this, but marijuana and cannabis seems to have beneficial results that are extremely curative, or at least prevents the symptoms. Gigantic creature washes up in Indonesia and no one knows what it is. Whoa. A huge dead creature washed up on a beach in Indonesia. The body was found on Hulung Beach on Seram Island. Okay, well that answers the whole thing. It's a Hulung caused by the serum. Its bloated 45-foot corpse is believed to have been dead for several days before washing up on the beach. They don't know what it is. It's a blob. It's a giant squid or something.
Cumi raksasa terdampar. Cumi. Terdampar di Uhe, Desa Iha, Kecamatan Homual.
All right, well, I can't really see it. It doesn't really matter. It's a giant blob. Next question. Holistic doctors, 50 have died. Yeah. This is an ongoing story. I heard 53 are dead now, but whatever. Who's counting? This is an old story, a year old, posted June 2016, and now the number is up to 53. But all these people are dead, and every one of them was trying to make people aware of the dangers of giving people too many vaccines. And Erin Elizabeth did an extensive expose about the past year's findings and concerning the many disappearances. And there's lists of them right here, June 19th, all the way back. Wow, that's quite a list. Yeah, I'd like to read that. I'll read it later. You know, there's no point in me confronting Mark in a verbal way. He's already denied doing anything on the phone when he called me, and I believe he was lying. And I know that he's been altering our view count for money, for profit. So it's really no point in me doing anything right now. We're just going to take this to the next level later on. That's all. I don't use Prel. No, I use a variety of shampoos. I kind of mix it up. It depends on the type of weather. If you've got humidity, your hair is going to curl up and look weird. So you use a straightening shampoo. And if it's really dry, you have to put a lot of conditioner to get your hair to look like it has thickness when you're in my condition. Tardigards, yeah, they're amazing. They last a couple hundred years, and this creature that they've located is a tardigard. Let me show you a picture of one. I believe the toilet paper roll has to be over, not under. Definitely over. Here's a rare chicken that looks a lot like Miley Cyrus that we detected. Oh, sorry. I think I hear a door opening. And then the irony is she has to rest a little bit before she comes in here because it's so difficult to do this show. Here's a tardigard. These things are really small. There's at least 1 billion of these things in the world. And they live over 250 years, and they are able to dehydrate and completely stop all life forms and somehow reactivate when water exists. Isn't that amazing? This is a creature that has defied the logic of everybody who studies it. But they can completely disappear with water. They're called water bears. Tardigrade. No, it's real news. There's the Illuminati dollar bill. Yeah, there it is. Many of you don't know what this is, but it's a dollar bill. And there's the pyramid on top and the all-seeing eye. You see, these people, the Masons and the Knights of Malta and the Knights Templar, they've been running our world for a long, long time, and they don't even tell the people at the bottom of the pyramid what they're doing. So a lot of Masons don't even know what the 33rd degree Masons do. And all of us are kind of born into this world where we believe this is all such a great thing, the dollar. When was the last time you earned $1? You know, I sold some stuff on eBay a while back. Why would I need to visit a doctor? Rodney, because he works all the time and he never saved up enough money to retire like I did. I'm not afraid to confront Mark. I said, Mark is doing this and I'm just logging it in. We're going to take it to the next level once it's all over. He can continue pretending to be, what he is right now and get away with it. It'll all come crashing back on him when he realizes and the world realizes that I could have been president 4 or 8 years ago, 4 years ago. I could have been president in 2012, 5 years ago, if Mark had not censored me. So Mark, well, he's actually the reason why we didn't get any donations the past year, which is a direct connection. I can show that. He's purposely kept Americans from coming into my room and finding out about me. And he's keeping a worldwide audience from coming in here and chatting. It's crazy. He thinks there's no big deal, but this is a violation of numerous laws. My dollar per vote count, when I got 4,200 votes in the local election, was probably 30 cents a vote. I spent about $1,000 to run for office locally. 4,200 votes was not a bad ratio. But we just did this to see and test the two-party system and how corrupt it was. They went after me like I was the enemy of their entire life. I couldn't believe how they stole 90% of my signs in my area, and in the process slandered me in the media, which I wasn't even able to respond, and the media wouldn't even allow me to respond. I sent a statement. They didn't even publish it. It's unbelievable how they censored me. Albert says Mark is censoring Firefox 64-bit users also. Only 64-bit browsers the chat on the site doesn't load in. I wouldn't doubt that, Albert. It may have something to do with the fact that Mark's browser and his software are pretty ancient. How did it go?
Good. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm just gonna. Sarah's gonna kind of sit here and mellow out with you and talk to you. I have proof of censorship every time you come in here and hit the capacity server screen. And every time he does that, your proof is right there in front of your eyes. Sarah, Sarah.
So I was just listening to NPR and they were talking about geoengineering and that whatever that person at Harvard that wants to spray things in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
But first we want to do laboratory.
My name is Amanda Bays, but I'm better known as Matt.
Yeah, but they're doing it anyway. And that person is a real nut job. I've exposed him. He doesn't have any scientific proof behind the idea of spraying aerosols in the stratosphere.
My name is Amanda Bays, but I'm better.
Yet he continues to do it. I have videos of him. And the elitists listen to this guy because he said that it would only cost $10 billion a year to spray the entire atmosphere we breathe. They thought, whoa, that's a good deal. Only $10 billion a year to douse the entire population with chemicals.
Hello.
So there's a lot of things we need to redress, and chemtrails is one of them. Sweden, ship of fools, okay. So I just grab it and put it over here and I paste the link in, as long as it doesn't pose a major threat this way.
Swedish politicians are not...
Swedish politicians, okay. All right, I will look at the playlist later. This is good. Monica Lewinsky's come out talking about her story, and that's going to lead our show at the top of the hour, at 10 o'clock. Monica Lewinsky is claiming that the Clintons aren't what you think. And we're going to find out more about what happened to her during that fateful decade that she didn't get any help whatsoever from anyone. It seems like she was left for, I don't know, I'll let her tell you about it. No, Sarah's okay.
I don't know, is she my age? She's about 10 years older than me.
No, she looks good. Let me show you her body if you want. She's keeping her weight down. She looks good, you know.
To mobs of virtual stone throwers. Granted, it was before social media, but people could still comment online.
She's going to really get into the details of what's happened to her. You're in need of helping patent a polydiametric ion particulate enabler? Well, you come to the right place. I'm working on my patent for a polydiametric ion particulate enabler right now. We should collaborate. I'm sorry, I've already filed the patents on that. It's a joke. I'm kidding. Good luck with that. I'll be right back. Yeah, thank you. I've only need to eat dinner. And
yes, go eat dinner and a few things.
You can turn guests off if you want.
Okay.
And to get to that browser, you just go to the top up here. Just click that one up above. And you can actually grab that browser if you need it, and it still plays while you look at the chat. So
okay.
It grabs it.
It's a corduroy jacket. Is what it is. All right, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mad Dog. Yeah, I went out with some friends, had a little dinner out, well, more like appetizers, and then I came home. Yeah, I didn't really have a brain freeze. I was reading that thing about live streaming your life is a good business or whatever. So, yeah, I have it up, Politics for Dummies. Should I read it to everyone? Oh, my face looks like foot pain in the heels. Yeah, I think I do. I not only have foot pain in my heels, I have like this callus on my, what's that called? The front part of your, those are your toes. What's that part called? Anyway, I have a callus right there. It kind of hurts. I don't want to be the first time I show my feet on TV. You would like to see my feet? I'm sure you would. Yeah, the metatarsals. I have strange metatarsals. Is it? I guess that's true. And it's okay. It's gotten better, my foot pain, but it is a weird callus. But it's gotten better. I think I might have that plantar fasciitis. Is that what it is? I think I might be starting to develop that. Because I have this, my metatarsals are kind of weird and have developed a callus because of the way my bones are shaped. And then maybe that could be the case, Oswald. I don't have a baby bump. No, I just am getting fat. That's all. Plantar fasciitis is bacterial. Well, I would show you my foot, but I don't want to. If you developed a wart, your body has generated an immunity. Okay. Good. They felt they existed. Yes. I know. Politics for Dummies. What's it? Can you give me the gist of the article? I am getting older. Gonna chip in for a shawl. I stand most of the day. Thanks, Oswald. Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess broadcasting your life is better than hurting yourself. No. I think there's plenty of things that are better than that, 672. Or unless you've had them for too long, that's grim. Yeah, I have heard that about nursing shoes, and I basically have some nursing type shoes. It is important to have a good pair of shoes. I have a few bedrooms in my house. You like to hit a wall thrice a day? As well, why don't you get a punching bag instead of a wall? Because at least a punching bag you don't have to patch up. But then if it's a punching bag that hangs from the ceiling, it could start leaking. Ultra hiking shoes are unbeatable. That's a good idea. Yeah, an 80-pound punching bag. Great exercise. Yes, I did just invest in some inserts for my shoes. Yes. I'm not on liveme.com. I guess I should be. Now, I guess if I see that website, David's going to say, Sarah, you should be on this site and this site and this site. Thank you, 926. Shoppers. I do not wear stilettos. I would hurt so much if I wore stilettos. Yeah, you would like to imagine me wearing stilettos. No. It was a good day. I listened to some incredible music. I read a little bit. I went outside a little bit. Yes, the gel inserts. Yes, I got some. And they do help, for sure. I also, podiatrist told me to get those corn cushions. I guess that's, I don't know if I have a corn or what I have, but no, callus cushions. And usually you put them on around your callus. But she said what you do is you can put them in your shoe so that it kind of gives a little sponge around the callus. Like you mark your callus and then with like she said use lipstick, mark your callus and put your foot on barefoot, of course, and then that way the lipstick goes onto your shoe so that you know where to put the callus cushion on the shoe. So I did that, which has been pretty good. No, I would not do that, Spit. All right, I know. Okay, do you want to play some trivia? Good to hear it. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Charles Foster Kane. Health problems in your family, that's too bad. That's tough. Yes, question game. All right, what is tonight? Friday night. Conventions of written English. Let's see where we're at. What are two words with opposite meanings called? Like cold and hot, small and large. Das Grimm is right. 349 is right. Das Grimm spelled it correctly. Antonyms. Antonyms. Okay. What is a concise and often witty statement of wisdom or opinion, such as children should be seen and not heard, or people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones? Buckra is right. An aphorism. Aphorism. What is a mark that is used with a noun or pronoun to indicate possession? Like the student's comment or the people's choice, or in a contraction to show where letters have been left out and isn't, don't, will. Buckra is right again. 349 is right. Rex 360 is right. It is an apostrophe. In grammar, what are the words a, an, and the, or the, which precedes a noun or its modifier? Buckra is right again. Articles. And the is a certain type of article called the definite article, and a and an are indefinite articles. And definite means there's definitely one, and indefinite means it could be any one of those. So it's like a White House, it could be any White House, or the White House, it's one. Speaking indefinitely is probable. Yeah, okay. What is a literary work about the writer's own life? Like Out of Africa. Buckra again. And 406 have it right. And 349 and 931. Autobiographies. Biographies are about people's lives, but auto are about the person's life that's writing it. Because it's auto is like my own, like autograph is my own signature. So autobiography is about my own life. All right, what is, it's also known as a helping verb that modifies the main verb, as in Gail can win, Gail did win, Gail could have won. A question often begins with this. It's not an adverb. So questions often begin with this, like did, could, can, have, does. Oh, you're funny, Dasgrim. All right, it's called an auxiliary verb. No one got it right. Auxiliary verb are helping verbs. Like they come before the verb. Like Gail win versus Gail can win. Can is the auxiliary verb. All right, what is nice job, Scissor Fight. Very cool. Hello, Misanthropy, just in time. It's all because of you that I chose not to do Fine Art Friday. I'm doing Conventions of Written English instead. Well, David has a book that you can buy called Hybrid Capitalism. As far as his autobiography, I think he might be working on that, but I don't know. He hasn't let me read any of it. Nice, Dasgrim. Matching socks are fun. Okay. New clue. And now we're into B. What is a simple narrative song or a narrative poem suitable for singing? It usually has a short stanza, such as, "There are 12 months in the year, as I hear many men say, but the merriest month of all in all the year is the merry month of May." Rex has it right. It's a ballad. Because did you get all of your friends to vote for David too? 734. What is their summation? Politics for Dummies. I have the article open, but I'm not going to read through it all. Living with Dave. Yeah. No. What is an abbreviation used with dates of events that took place before the birth of Jesus? Buckra has it right. Charles Foster Keen has it right. 349 has it right. No, David does not have a 3D printer. And yes, 587, you have it right too. It stands for Before Christ. Ooh, what is an abbreviation used in place of BC? It means before the Common Era. Correct. BCE. Ha ha ha, 429. What is a list of the written sources of information on a subject? They generally appear as a list at the end of a book or article. It may show what works the author used in writing the article or book, or they may list the works that a reader might find useful. Buckra has it right. Charles Foster Keen has it right. Bibliography. An index is just a list of all of the topics within a piece. All right. What is the story of someone's life, any person's life? Like The Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell and Abraham Lincoln by Carl Sandburg. Buckra has it right. Rex has it right. Whoa, FedEx is hit. I do believe that. Politics for Dummies. Actually, I just received the mail I was looking for, so I'm not expecting any other mail. That was biography. Are these trick questions? No, they're not intended to be. What is verse written in iambic pentameter without rhyme? Many of the speeches in the plays of William Shakespeare are written in this. Like, I can read you an example from Macbeth. 922, I think it is correct. It is like Babel, but it's not. No, I did not scan it for RF emissions. Yes, Sarah just taught you the difference between biography and autobiography. Biography is written about anybody's life, and then autobiography is about one's own life. Okay, Shakespeare always wrote in this. Well, almost always. Oh, actually, I said the Buckra is right. Blank verse And it's written in iambic pentameter. Listen to the iambic pentameter. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, and to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to dusty death, out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale, told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. It is very cool you knew about the blank verse. I knew about iambic pentameter. I didn't really know blank verse. Macbeth rocks. All right. What is amending a book by removing passages and words deemed obscene or objectionable? I never knew this word before. I'd have heard of it, but I didn't know what it meant. It's not abridging. Good guess, though. It's taking out the vulgarity, Bengalitis. The name comes from a guy named Thomas Boulder in his 1818 edition of the plays of William Shakespeare, which was amended so it could be read aloud in a family. Yes, Buckra is right. Charles Foster Keen is right. And 112, yeah, in a way you're right. It is like censorship, but it's bowdlerizing. Amending a book by taking out the bad words. Bowdlerizing. 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 That's pretty good. Nice job, Buckra. Good job, Charles Foster Kane. You just have to crazy guessed answer and you knew it. My goodness, you must have like interesting things going on in your head. All right, good job. What are marks that resemble parentheses, but they have square corners? They're often used in quotation marks to distinguish between the quoter's own words and those of the writer being quoted. Correct. Des Grimm. Correct. Jeff Boston. Correct. 587. Correct. Buckra had it right first. Correct. 922 had it right seconds. Brackets. Actually, they're not those are braces, Des Grimm. 587 has the brackets. Yeah, the braces are still used in programming. Brackets are new. I don't know if they're that new. He, the president, made a memorable speech at Gettysburg. All right, what? Yeah, Pascal used braces. When you do parentheses, you do braces, then brackets. Well, you work from the outside, from the parentheses to the brackets to the braces. Pascal, I should go learn that. All right. What are one of the two kinds of letters? They're also called uppercase letters. They're larger and often formed differently from lowercase letters. They're used at the beginning of sentences or a proper name and may be used to show respect. Rex is so close. 112 has it right. I guess I'll give it to Rex. I know he just didn't type in a letter. Capital letters, yes. Capital letters are used at the beginning of a sentence or a proper name and may be used to show respect. Some examples are the dog barked, Daniel, the Lord, and Queen Elizabeth. What is a grammatical category indicating whether nouns and pronouns are functioning as the subject of a sentence or the object of a sentence? I did not know this. You don't like this show? Why, 248? Yes, Buckra. Case. If it's the subject of a sentence, it's a nominative case. If the object of a sentence is objective case, or are indicating possession, possessive case. He is in the nominative case. Him is an objective case, and his is a possessive case. In a language such as English, nouns do not change their form in the nominative or objective case. Only pronouns do. Thus, ball stays the same in both the ball is thrown, where it is a subject, and in Harry threw the ball, where it is the object. Ha ha ha, Bengalitis. If it's not in caps, you don't read it. That's funny. All right. I never heard of this before. What is an abbreviation meaning compare? It's short for the Latin word confer and instructs the reader to compare one thing with another. I never knew that. Yeah, Buckra has it right. I never knew that. Buckra, what kind of books are you reading, bud? You're a pretty smart man.
He bought literate. He bought the Culture of Literacy. He ordered it.
Buckra, did you buy this book?
And it's annotated online, too. And you can trace it by word now. I'm just messing with you. I think Buck Raw is the real deal. Yeah. He really knows his stuff. Yeah.
I think you're going to have to pick up my feet and move them.
Okay. My hands are cold, though.
Yeah, they feel good. Oh, God.
Well, you need to get off your feet, and that's number one priority. I can make you something for dinner if you're hungry. If you're not hungry, I'm good. Are you hungry?
Yes, Jeff Boston. No, David.
You're not?
I'm not hungry. I'm just extremely thirsty.
Then go for it.
Oh, you're a woman? I didn't know you were a woman.
Buckraw's a woman.
Buckra isn't your real name.
I've been speaking English for 67 years.
Maybe it's Rebecca.
It's true. You are a woman.
Did I guess it right? You don't have to tell me. You can just wink at me. No.
Well, now you're open season because guys in here are so desperate for a girlfriend. You're going to be, hit on throughout the evening, even if you're 67 years old.
You always thought it was back rub.
Buck rub.
Princess Buttercup. You feel safe. That's good.
Good. I'm glad
Just
you're
don't
safe.
Life casts.
We have a couple of women that cast in the evening, and it's amazing how the guys just, they're always angling, always looking for an angle. Like maybe
I know,
they can.
now Buckra's good. It's like people thought Buckra was a guy. Now she's just like one of the guys. Now it's going to be like, oh, Buckra's on.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Buckra, you're the only woman here. Sarah left.
Yep.
Sorry, Buckra.
I'm not allowed to play the Obamas video on the show. And Sarah doesn't want me to play it anyway, so.
All right, Buck.
FedEx hit as the NSA-linked ransomware spreads across the world. Did you hear about
Yes, I have heard about the ransomware spreading.
And the newest information about Trump is they're ramping up investigations while he's trying to cast suspicions away when he changed his story.
Correspondent Tom Cheshire has joined me. And Tom, I've long been an advocate of paper and pen over computer. There is nothing that's happened today. Exactly that. I mean,
And he said that he threatened James Comey in a tweet last night, and his press corps doesn't know what to do with this guy. He's a serial tweeter, Trump is. And since
You're like, please stop saying stuff. Just go into your bedroom and be quiet.
Stop tweeting. Because he said that you better hope that we didn't tape your conversations.
You better hope that it wasn't recorded.
Yeah, it wasn't recorded.
And I'm like, well, that could have meant that Trump recorded it, or that could have meant that Comey recorded it, and Comey was threatening to release it. Everybody is playing the idea that Trump recorded it and threatening Comey.
Could be the opposite.
I think that Trump is saying, you better not have recorded our conversations.
Maybe so, yeah.
Anyway.
We'll find out. Well, now the entire country wants to see or hear the audio recordings of the White House for the time that James Comey was talking to him. Sarah's getting very political, yeah. She's trying to take the opposite.
Oh my goodness, I just gave Trump an alibi.
No, you didn't really, because he's not really watching right now. He's too busy hitting the punching bag in the Oval Office they installed. They say he's just gone ballistic. He talks all the time about how the Russian thing, he wants it to go away. He doesn't understand why they keep bringing it up. When the Russian hackers have taken control, 40 NHS trusts believed to have been hit by a major cyber attack, folks. So National Health Service in England is now reeling from a serious attack. Theresa May says the attack is part of a wider international attack. There's no evidence that the patient data has been compromised. It's thought more than 70 countries have been affected, and ironically, the most affected has been Russia. Russia has been the most affected by this recent ransom hack, where they claim that your system has been compromised and you have to pay them $300 to fix it. Unbelievable. Abstractionism. You know, Dasgrim, I don't believe that it's true that Trump has a degree in anthropology. I think his degree is from Wharton School of Business. I think you're reaching at a very tangential thought, though. Someone is proving a point? Oh, no kidding. Wow. I haven't seen that happen in a long time. I don't know if it's okay to say Mother's Day jokes. Trump is not a smart man, Power J. He's just smart compared to you because you're so dumb. Oh, man. Everyone knows Trump is barely functional. Maybe he's shrewd. Let me ask you, is it shrewd to say, could I make a deal to get a loan from you? Well, what do you want? Okay, I'll give it to you. If that's shrewd, then that's Trump. Getting loans from everybody around him. Yeah. That's all the way. That's how he managed to pad his pockets all these years. Donate to a local sperm bank? What, are you kidding me? I'm looking to store my sperm in the Norwegian seed vault. In Norway, I was looking at pictures of this place. It would be wonderful. I don't know why I'm talking like a rabbi. Seems so incongruous. You know, he's not my president. He illegally obtained the presidency through cheating with Russia. That's not considered. I don't consider him a president. We don't really have a president right now. We have Trump. That's the opposite of having a president. He's mismanaging everything, man. I mean, there is a time when something happens and somebody realizes he's not cut out for the job, and that person happens to be him. He actually said he didn't realize this job would be this hard. He said that last week. He also said he doesn't stand by anything in an interview.
Here I am on Svalbard. It's an archipelago, 800 miles from the North Pole. There are polar bears and glaciers, and also the most amazing genetic library I've ever seen.
That's where I want to store my synthetic material. Yes. We have replicated the human genome and mastered the art of converting carbon to silicon. So my genetic material is synthetic, but it can still mate with a human donor. Wouldn't that be something weird beyond belief? Yeah, well, silicon carbon could somehow mate, and you'd have androids that are fully functional, pre-op android. Ivanka is having a hard enough time keeping Jared happy. Yeah. Dave, will you be showing a robot love dolls tonight? No, absolutely not. I was not attracted to those dolls, so I'm not going to show them. Do you really expect me to put robot dolls on the screen for you to watch? I don't even think I can bring that that image up. Do you have a copy of the link? I'll certainly post it. It is getting so that men are so hard up and women are so hard up that somehow, because they can't broach the divide of my tablet versus your tablet. Am I tweeting with you right now? Oh, I better talk. Yes. Have you ever been on a speed date where both people are actually tweeting each other? You're making me feel very uncomfortable. I have not played Rocket, no. Rocket Man, burning down the... Hey, Dave, it's me, not the Awesome Carl guy. Yes, despite the efforts, they have not been able to form DNA from chemical components. That is correct. It's been tried. But you're not looking at the recent laboratory advances made by the Lawrence Livermore Laboratories. Global Technologies. Look closer. Page not found. That's not a link. Give me something more, Jeff. That's just didn't come in. The justice.gov doesn't show it. I went to the link. It doesn't exist, man. Page not found. They must have scrubbed your link as soon as they saw you looking at it. That's not the first time it's happened. They may be tracking you, Jeff. They track journalists, you know. Anyone who becomes president will get gray hair. Okay. I've been wondering when my gray hair was going to come in. I see a little of it around my temples. But how much money did Dr. Dow eventually make from the dragged off the plane incident? Well, what would it be worth to you if you were dragged off a plane? I mean, seriously. How much would you get as a recovery? I mean, what would make it worth your while to be Dr. Dow?
Hey, come on. Come on.
Come on. But they just lost millions of dollars. Tell me what happened, Daskrim. I'm asking. You seem to know a lot of things. But my AI has been noticeably quiet tonight. Just taking things in, I guess. About 65 grand? Are you serious? I would expect 5 million for that behavior. He got his medical license back. We all know about his medical license, yeah. He had farm to call the security guard an N-word. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, now you're not making any sense. He didn't down nothing. He's going to get 5 to 10, easy. Hey, it's not me, Awesome Carl. Hey, gold is at 1227. Silver is 1644 coming up. And the Dow Jones dropping even more, down to 20,896. It hit 21,000 and then fell back. Well, I got to tell you, I would not want these airlines behaving this way under my leadership. I'm going to get rid of, yeah, it's going up a little bit, silver. I'm going to get rid of the TSA. I promised to get rid of the seat vault from my screen, too. There you go. We want to phase out the TSA at the airports. I think it's long overdue. We've got military personnel working for our government. 2 million people, actually, are on salary. Why are we paying an extra $7 billion a year to cover the cost of a TSA worker sitting there with a newspaper over his lap looking at your body part? Yeah, she looks pretty good. Hey, go back again, ma'am. You know, this kind of thing. And it's always a newspaper in their lap. You can always see that. Liberal Democrats want to legalize weed if they win the general election. I don't care. I'm going to legalize it. I'm a centrist. I'm not a liberal Democrat. I will legalize marijuana. They're 10 years late. I've been saying this for 8 years now. So Jeff Sessions just expanded the private prison network for his cronies that want to make more prisoners. And he's going to go after more drug dealers, he said. And they're claiming that the crime rate's up. They claim that the murder rate is up 12 to 18% in the country. That's because cops are killing more people. We don't need more prisons unless you're going to put the cops in the prisons. Just in, the Senate committee to be convened investigated why POTUS received 2 scoops of ice cream and Diet Coke. I think you're full of it, Trump rhetoric. You don't know what to do because Trump has ruined his opportunities to be our president. He's now going to be going into the vault of scrutiny. And he will be looked at very closely now by our government because what he's been doing is contradicting himself time after time. And that equates to lying. That's tantamount to lying to the American people daily. Hey, this looks good. The tuition-free community college is going to come out in Tennessee as a bill heads to Haslam. Tennessee will become the first state in the nation to offer tuition-free community college to nearly every resident without a degree. That's awesome.
For tuition-free attendance for adults at our community colleges. This is unique because for years now we've been offering tuition-free attendance to high school graduates, recent high school seniors for our community colleges. The Tennessee Reconnect proposal would expand that to adult students. I think that the Tennessee Reconnect proposal kind of builds on top of what we learned from Promise, which is what's important is the message you send to students about college. And there's no doubt that Promise's success led us to believe as we began developing the proposal, working with the governor's office, that we needed to talk about going to college differently to adults. There are many adults that could receive full federal aid to go to college, but they don't know that.
Well, there you go. Now we're going to take a look at the debt clock. The U.S. debt clock is running out of control here. We're at 19 trillion. Yeah, 19 trillion. And the state debt clocks. Let's see what we got here. We've got Tennessee. Okay, they are in debt for $31 billion. Okay, that's not good. This happened last week when New York offered a free 4-year education. Yeah, this is not good. $31 billion in debt, and they want to offer free tuition. Wow. See what I mean? They think it's free money. These government bureaucrats sit there in their cushy seats thinking they're going to win votes by offering a free education. It is a good investment. Don't get me wrong. I offer a 6-week to 6-month solution, not a 2-year degree. Well, they're $31 billion in debt. New York is even worse. New York is claiming they're going to offer a 4-year degree. Are you ready for this? I'm talking here. Yeah, let me go to New York. Hang on. Yeah, New York has got a population of 19 million. And their debt is a staggering 1.5, oh, their GDP is 1.5 billion. That's amazing. You serious? Rethink that. Their debt is $351 billion. They're almost as bad as the 530 California is. Let's see if California is 530. Another one bites the dust. Yeah, the next 30 not if I can help it. I want to build a solution to erase the debt. I can't believe that we haven't made strides in this area. It's as if no one understands that much of this money is collateralized with money we have in trust for us at the World Bank. And our ties to the World Bank are well noted. I mean, you got the Federal Reserve, which is the arm of the World Bank here. Yeah, that's New York. 351. California. California's at 458. I misspoke earlier when I said 530. They're at $458 billion in debt. California is. But they have a huge contribution. Their GDP is almost double what New York is. So their debt is actually smaller in comparison to their GDP. So California's got a lot of money coming in. But either way, all these states are running way in debt. I've got to get a brand new approach to dealing with the budget, and every governor is going to be meeting with me when I'm president. I write my autobiography at night. Dave, the feds have Trump tapes akin to Nixon's Watergate tapes. I know. They make copies of all these things. The FBI agents changed their Facebook profile photos to James Comey, a gesture normally reserved for slain colleagues. Look at that. So there's a lot of people at the FBI that are standing by their guy, James Comey, as he heads back to his private life. He's being offered millions of dollars, 6 figures on a book signing deal. Maybe 8 figures. They say 8 figures even. Whatever. The firing of FBI Director James Comey has reportedly sent morale plunging at an agency already enduring one of its most tumultuous periods in history. Andrew McCabe, who was the FBI's deputy director, has now become its acting head after Trump ousted Comey earlier this week. McCabe is due to testify before senators. And not everyone inside the FBI was a supporter of Mr. Comey, but several reports said that the way he was treated had left many feeling angry and frustrated. Yeah, now Trump changed his tune, no longer talking about what Comey did with Hillary, because Trump had endorsed Comey, and somebody said, hey, by the way, you endorsed Comey. Why are you saying the reason why you're firing him is because he did this? So they then changed their tune, and now they say that Comey lost the confidence. Trump said Comey lost the confidence of almost everyone in Washington, Republican and Democrat alike. When things calm down, they'll be thanking me. I don't think so. No, things aren't going to calm down, Mr. Trump. You made the deal with the devil. You cavorted in cahoots with the Russian mob. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're definitely not the person we need as president. And having stolen 10 of my ideas to get elected and willfully tried to conspire to keep me from getting any viewers here. I mean, this guy, Trump, there's some serious things going on many of you are not aware of. Now, what happened today with the ransomware? Hackers exploited the stolen U.S. spy agency tool to launch global cyber attacks. But I argue that WikiLeaks is probably just an arm of the NSA, because the NSA can buy anything or anyone. They could just print money willy-nilly. They're not restricted by their budget. Neither is the CIA. So they could have just easily bought WikiLeaks and used that as a venue to dump all kinds of stuff on the world and trigger a downward cycle in both the financials and in our personal privacy. And being this is Freedom Friday night, personal privacy is kind of high on the list. Yep, and we got a major revelation coming up at the top of the hour. Monica Lewinsky is going to speak out on what she's occurred. 22 minutes from Ted. It'll be the price of shame.
A few days later, the Starr report is released to Congress. And all of those tapes and transcripts, those stolen words form a part of it.
Okay, we're going to listen to the narrative that she's going to be putting out tonight. Top of the hour. Yeah, New York has known how corrupt Trump is for years. Yeah. Jeff Boston, a reporter arrested for asking Tom Price if domestic violence is a pre-existing condition under Trump care. A $5,000 bond and potential 6-month jail term await, just like the First Amendment says. Wow. A reporter was arrested for asking Tom Price if domestic violence is a pre-existing condition under Trump care. Are they trying to stifle anyone in the press now who questions him? And Donald Trump invited the Russian press, secret press, mind you, into the White House and didn't allow U.S. reporters in when he met with a leading government official from Russia. A reporter has been arrested for pressing Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price to say whether or not the Trump health care bill would make it harder for domestic violence survivors to obtain insurance. This is unbelievable. Look, that's misuse of their office. This guy has got to be impeached. It's just a question of time now. Stalin, you think it's a very Stalin Trump? He's out of control, folks. If you're a Trump supporter, you must be reeling in regret. I don't know how you can stand there and say, well, I really think he's going to stop the New World Order. Especially when he's parked there, sitting in front of your face, kissing Trump. Kissinger. Look at this. Kissinger came out of the woodworks ever since the Watergate hearings. Kissinger hasn't said much in public except for, a few things. We are really a new world order we're trying to create. Donald, could I be with Ivanka later?
Everybody knows Dr. Kissinger, and we're right now talking about Russia and various other matters. We're talking about Syria. And I think that
Donald, could I get some time with Ivanka later tonight? I have a very important meeting I would like to have with her.
that we're going to do very well with respect to Syria. I think things are happening that are really, really, really positive.
Oh yeah, starting a war in Syria is really, really positive. Oh yeah, we can't wait for that. Yeah, nothing like diverting our attention to Syria when Russia is clearly trying to get us out of Syria, and somehow we want to be starting a war in Syria to what, appease our relationship with Russia? I don't get it. And then Russia meets with him secretly, privately, with no oversight by our press. This guy is absolutely a traitor to America. And what he's doing is going to be prosecuted. No question about it now. It's just a question of how much momentum does Congress have behind them and how much truth did they get before James Comey was kicked out because of his Russian investigation. So Trump may have violated a law again in firing James Comey because he simply cannot be fired. He's involved with a Russian investigation on you, Trump. You can't fire him. I'm not really interested in the leader of Iran. Das grim, but you're quoting from a man who doesn't have any bearing here. Dave, do you think you wouldn't be also controlled puppet? No, I am an independent person. I am able to say whatever I want to say on the show. Clearly, I am natural and human in nature. What do you think? Do you really think that I'm easily controlled? I'm one of the last people you want to say, hey, David, go over there. That's an order. I'm one of the last people on earth that would actually do that. I have a personal angst against authority figures in general, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But as far as complying with the law, I'll do whatever an officer tells me to do. I certainly respect the law, but at the same time, there's a situation that is not acceptable, and that is when the law is a criminal, and when the actual crime is a violation of our freedoms. And that's happening a lot right now in America. Last year alone, 1,203 people died unnecessarily. Actually, I think it was more than that. Let me look up the killedbypolice.net. The numbers are rather disturbing. Just yesterday morning, there was a person with his head blown off. It's like a song from the 60s. Just yesterday morning, there was a person with their head blown off. Killed by police 2017. Let's take a look. Agreewithme.com. All right, let's take a look here. This is Don Cornelius. Hey, man, I thought you died. May 12th, Dateline. You can go to the Facebook killing a person who just died. Let's look at Byron O'Shea. They give you all the specifics. Police investigating officer involved shooting in Jupiter, Florida. Man killed by Florida deputies wanted in a Raleigh motel robbery. This guy died right here, age 46. Now that means wanted in a motel. Never really know for sure if these people are guilty. I mean, they could have had the wrong guy. Who do we even know? So then you go to the next one. It's obvious. All these other people are dead. Andrew Kearse, Tyrell Kareem Johnson, Tyrell, Jerome Peter Kumwinger. I mean, we could just go through this and just analyze it. But the numbers last year were, let's see what the number topped out at for 2016. I think I have to go to the next year. I'm pretty sure it was 1,203. So right now we're not even more than a few months into this first year, and we're up to 429 dead by cop. So we're on track to equal or better last year's a number of dead people from cops. The police are out of control. Florida is an epicenter. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rex. Rex 360, man. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff that we talk about on Friday, Freedom Friday, the lack of freedom. In a country that claims to be free and democratic, we have more dead people from cops than any other country per capita. Yeah, I mean, we're killing more innocent people in our country than Duterte in Philippines is killing drug dealers. Well, no, he's killed 3,500 in 2 years. So he's about the same number of dead people. Yeah, it just doesn't work for you. I deal with them the way I do normally. Just it's a process of honing the room and trimming the negativity. Comey signed on with an organization officially called One World for Peace. I don't know. Isn't he a Democrat or something? He was appointed by a Democrat he was working for 3 years when he was fired. Oh yeah, good banner, absolutely. And thanks for coming in, Dowskrim. Is this your first time in our show? No, we don't need to paddle people in schools, no. You want to repeat an offense that happened to you? You realize what that says? It says that you've been a victim of violence and you want to repeat that violence. Well, calling you a Trump tart really makes me feel good, hermit. And I'll ban you if you keep it up. This is more of like a get a sting and you walk away from the bees kind of situation. Well, News Views is run by Mark. He doesn't have any control over that. And they're stealing news from Fox anyway. I don't believe they have a legitimate right to play any of the Fox newscasts. I think it's ridiculous. And they've gone unchecked since then. Yes, Jeff, we did cover the Los Angeles City Council approving a resolution on Trump's impeachment. Yeah, that's definitely happening. Los Angeles City Council has approved a resolution to start the impeachment process. I have it on unconfirmed reports that Maxine Waters has enough votes to initiate the impeachment process right now. It shouldn't take long once the Republicans realize they're riding a sinking ship. They knew it internally when he took over the party using my ideas and gradually going after the character of everybody who's running against. Remember Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz both gave in the same day? Well, let me tell you something about what happened then. The person who did the investigation on Marco Rubio and found out he had a history of sodomite activity at fraternities, as homosexual sodomite activities, Marco Rubio, that person was also the same person that found out that Ted Cruz, his father, was at the JFK assassination right near the whole epicenter. They were keyed everything. And I must tell you that what happened, the guy who found all this stuff out was an Ohio, I believe he was an Ohio blogger who was an attorney, and he was really good at prying information. Very good investigative attorney. Well, guess what? The week after he delivered this message to the Trump campaign about Rubio and about Ted Cruz, a week later, he's dead. Yeah. Isn't that weird? That was a weird little moment last year. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz evaporated. Trump had the entire nomination locked up right after that. Isn't that a little strange? That a person who did all that deep investigation died a week later? Just strange. I don't know. I guess we'll never know if there's no investigation. We'll never know if Justice Scalia was killed if there's no investigation. We'll never know if anything happens in our country if there's no investigation. In other words, the corrupt people are actually thinking they've got total control of our country and that we will never, ever create a political alternative to their two-party system. They really believe that. And they're pretty sure that this little effort on the internet isn't going to stop them. And this isn't just a little effort. This has been a non-stop effort for 9 years by me and Sarah. So what we're doing is keeping the hope alive for a better country, keeping the hope that we'll get restitution for all the misdeeds of our former presidents, and keeping hope that we'll create a better country that will actually lead other nations as opposed to tell other nations what to do. You see, we can lead by example. And other nations can say, oh yeah, I like what they're doing in America. We'll try that here. Oh, and they have this solar pipeline they created for water to create seawater, ocean pipeline. We should try that here. Keeping Bob Hope alive. Das Grimm says one could argue that conspiracy is coincidence. The rate of coincidence is impossible. That's right. There's too much leading in one direction. And one has to assume that because Donald Trump has been indicted 150 times or more by our federal government, and he's behaving just as he was under every one of these indictments when he had attorneys to defend him, now he doesn't have anybody to defend him, and he's under the scrutiny of a daily Twitter following that simply watches what he says as he disassembles right in front of your eyes. He's not smart enough to be a good liar. Donald Trump is not the sharpest guy in the world, and he acquired his money by taking money from people and borrowing money. And when the government finds out that his FBI records indicate he may have taken money from Russian mobsters to become president, it's going to be resignation time for Donald Trump. The FBI, number 2, did not disclose wife's ties to Clinton's ally. Records show. No kidding, really. A top FBI official who became under scrutiny last year over his wife's campaign contributions from a Hillary Clinton ally did not list those donations on his wife's financials, according to records. The deputy director, acting director, Andrew McCabe, left the box blank for his wife, Jill McCabe, salary as a doctor with Commonwealth Emergency Physicians. There's no documentation of the hundreds of thousands of campaign funds she received in her unsuccessful 2015 Virginia State Senate race. I'm sorry, but the FBI cannot have this guy as their acting director. He's just as potentially liable as any other one. This is really disturbing. It just never ends. It really doesn't. No, I'm fine. You're the butthurt failure. All right. Psychobabble, you're not allowed to come in here and make statements. You know that. Especially ones that are said by other people that I'm spamming or banning or muting. David, you are taking on The Rock and Zuckerberg in 2020? Yeah, sure. Look, I'm already way ahead of them in the polls. Worldwide, that is. I'm not really received in the U.S. right now. I'm only received in countries around the world where people like me. FBI raids an Annapolis consulting firm. The firm that search warrants were executed on is a strategic campaign group in Annapolis, Maryland. The firm is known for its pioneering use of technology in political campaigns for the GOP. So they're going after the source of this, the Russian contamination of the GOP. That's good. There's some anecdotal evidence out there that Donald may have been paying hackers to hack Hillary when he said that he hopes that they find more stuff on her. Yeah, when he actively asked Russia to commit espionage. When Trump said that in front of the entire population of viewers, I was going, doesn't he know he's implicating himself as an espionage violator? No, I didn't see Ebola is back. Where did it start coming back? Well, Comey has said he's not going to testify because apparently he does have a lot of dirt on him regarding Hillary. But that's not the reason why we're upset. We're upset because Trump got rid of him over Russia. I should put my hand here and pretend like his mouth is my puppet. Yeah, well, maybe he did. I always said Comey needed to be fired, not now. Look, when he started investigating Trump's Russian connection, I began believing there was some redeemable value here. Not gay at all, man. Your rumors are false. In fact, you need to get arrested for sexual harassment. Hours ago, more World Health Organization meetings are held. We tried to the small-headed baby mosquito virus scare. What next? Ebola? And Jeff says the animosity Trump created at the FBI with the director's firing will be his downfall. Trust me on that. Thank you, Jeff. You must know the FBI better than I do. I never got a call back when I told them that they were, I had death threats against me. Actually, Sarah called and left a message, and they never called us back. Yeah, kind of weird. No, Comey's valuable no matter what. But if he doesn't want to testify in front of Senate subcommittee hearing, he'll have to be indicted under federal law by a grand jury. Keep up with me. You're not catching my drift. And now the FBI is investigating Jane Sanders for alleged bank fraud. Just when Mr. Bernie padded his home, he has 3 homes worth $600,000 now after running for president. Mr. Socialist. Now the FBI is going to be investigating Jane Sanders for alleged bank fraud. Yeah, I heard about this. We ran the story last night. You're a little behind the times. Catch up. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that arresting a reporter for asking a simple question is total misuse of power. And Jeff Sessions, I understand, hauled a woman into court and is going to give her a 10-year sentence for simply laughing at something he said. Apparently, Caitlyn has plunged in popularity as baby name on Social Security's list. A year after Caitlyn Jenner announced her new name and gender, the popularity of the name Caitlyn plummeted more than any other baby name. In fact, the 4 names that dropped the most were, of all, Caitlyn, Katie Lynn, and Kate Lynn. All 4 versions of Caitlyn fell out of the top 1,000 baby names. Isn't it amazing what a transgender can do to your popularity? Dave, what do you think? All right. 15 minutes to the end of the show. And I do this show every night with 5 hours under my belt. I record 4 hours of it for perpetuity. And we have the ability to do another 5 hours, or actually another 4 hours from 10 to 2 of all the videos we pull in during the show. It's kind of a cool format. Amazing dinosaur found accidentally by miners in Canada. National Geographic is proud to bring you the Brontosaurus Rex Tillerson. Stunning discovery. Some 110 million years ago, the armored plant eater lumbered through what is now Western Canada until a flooded river swept it into open ocean. The dinosaur's undersea burial preserved its armor in exquisite detail. Its skull still bears tile-like plates and a gray patina of fossilized skins. Sounds like something I'd eat on my entree dish. It has a lovely gray patina and fossilized. I'm very glad to have arrived here early for a change, Dave. Why, Jeff, you overwork? You've been busting your butt, man. I bet. Working nonstop for the man. It's not easy, meeting all those credit card debts and mortgage payments and car payments and insurance payments. And every single month you got to put out 15 letters in the mail to pay your bills. And then hope your boss doesn't fire you. I feel for a lot of you fathers and mothers who need your job just to stay in there. Yeah, we covered the massive blob that washed up in Indonesia. I don't really need to go there again, but thanks for the link. I'm still quite shocked that Trump is boasting that his impeachment will get higher TV ratings than all the other impeachments in the world. This is what he's all about. He's not here to run for president. He's here to get good ratings. Look at this. This is a serial megalomaniac, a person who they say is a malignant narcissist. In an interview with NBC's Lester Holt, Donald Trump boasted that if he's impeached, the television ratings will be higher than any of those in any other impeachment in history. What do you do with somebody like that? Seriously, besides impeach them? That man is truly insane, I know. And that's what James Comey said on his way out the door. He said, this guy's insane. Now, there's a fight going on at McDonald's over McDonald's food. And there have been a group called McFatties.
Should they really even be, like, in here? Disgusting. It's fucking disgusting, mate. I know. I bet he's not going to be getting a salad, yeah. It's a fast food restaurant. Yeah. Oh, should you be in here? You shouldn't even be in here, mate. Why don't you just leave now? Do yourself a favour.
You've had way too much. I think you should actually just leave now because you're just like, why don't you just leave? You're so fat already. Yeah, but don't get food. Don't eat anymore.
Trying to save your life.
You should stop eating.
You've had way too much.
You should just stop eating, mate. Like, just leave. Do yourself a favour. Go for a jog. Go jog on. Jog on, mate.
Not in shape.
Huh?
Why are you guys saying that?
Because he's fat enough. Look at him. Why is he in here? He should just like go for a walk, go for a long jog. Jog on.
Why are we just...
Well, I'm just trying to help him. What? So you're like...
Let me see if it ramps
You get
up
a fucking salad, mate. Disgusting.
What are you doing?
Disgusting.
Look at the size of him. So what?
What?
So what?
Look at him. Look at him.
Look, what? I got a belly as well, what?
Yeah, there's nothing compared to that, look. So?
You're in the same category as him. You should
Come on.
Be eating anymore.
How dare you?
What?
How dare you?
What?
How dare you?
In it though, like, look. Come on. It's disgusting.
See you? Disrespect. Disrespect.
Oh my God! You fucking cunt! Look at you!
Just leave.
Oh my God!
I'm afraid this show is turning into Jerry Springer here. Is this fake? Hey. Oh, it's from a channel called Troll Station. They're all in on it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not into seeing videos that just happen to be, you know, YouTube stars. I'm more interested in Donald Trump thinking this is going to be the biggest impeachment ever. This is going to be bigger than any other impeachment. I'm telling you, it's like he's looking for the best ratings of any other. This guy doesn't even know he's president. Or if he does, he's deluded in thinking he doesn't have to do anything. Oh, man, he's been, what, golfing every other weekend since he became president? I'm not. I didn't want to play that. No, eye in the sky, you have been removed. This is your last chance. You are gone. We don't want any Illuminati puppets coming in here, eye in the sky. I don't like your Illuminati image that you have. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the Trump haters are getting really, really old. Hey, I'm 57, and I'm not hating Trump at all. I absolutely think he's the worst example of a president we've ever seen. So I'm just going to mute you. I think a lot of you don't realize that I didn't get any coverage in the mainstream media compared to Trump's endless coverage. I don't think you realize that. You're not going to get 7 more years. He'll get 7 years in jail. And I'm purging you for a while. I am. That's why it says David Sponheim 2020 here. You're pretty smart. I am Farticus. I don't consider Rolling Stone libeling me anything. I'm muting you, Sarah Bach. Oh, man. I just can't believe the kind of crap I got to put up with here. You guys come in here because you have nowhere else to chat and no conservative blog points to talk to about your love of Donald. How you want to, you know, suck him off. Whatever there is of him, which probably isn't much. Here's the story, Dave. Okay, let's take a look. Relationship of the future, love doll, robots, life size, can hold a conversation. Now, this is more than a lot of women can do, considering their attention span is dwindling. Now, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, cut to the chase, buddy. You want to do it or what?
Close your eyes. Wake up. Smile.
Her name is Harmony. She's a realistic-looking robot with soft skin and soothing voice.
The more you interact with me, the smarter I become.
She's capable of having a conversation, a romantic moment, and well, you know.
I feel very secure with you next to me.
Harmony is a redhead with green eyes, but she can be blonde or brunette. Every detail can be customized.
I'm trying to learn how to talk like that. And it's kind of interesting to talk like this. People would think I'm a robot. That voice is a turnoff. No, I don't get carpal tunnel because I'm really fast. I do what I do here. Here's the story. Okay, I'll play that a little bit later, like at the end of our show, because I just don't want to miss any good chat here. You guys are doing great. Well, some of the best chat so far we've seen all night long is the last 15 minutes. You heard about your site on 4chan. They say the third party is the future. Thank you for getting that positive. It took me years of being virtually attacked by 4chan to finally get them to realize, hey, I'm the real deal. Thank you very much. We've been fighting through a thicket of people just saying, oh, nobody's going to vote for you. And we're just getting to the point now where we're just kind of cruising toward that one interview that we might get at the mainstream media. Because I've been turned down by 5 or 6 major networks. They refused to interview me. They actually came to my house, ABC affiliate did, and interviewed me twice, and they threw away the tape because I looked too good. No, I'm just getting started, Super Saver Dave. You know, somebody said if God had done something to prevent all this, we never would be in the situation man was in. Okay, well, let me put this to you, all of you people who do believe in God. If God had the foresight to step up and do something about something he foresaw was going to happen, like corruption on earth, don't you think he'd go out of his way to give birth to somebody who would fix that 57 years ago? I'm not saying I'm a disciple of God. I'm just saying somebody out there is going to do the dirty work to fix this at all costs to themselves. And I don't mind being that person because I'm not going to live in tyranny run by a group of psychopaths who think that they're important in government and Wall Street. While our nation continues to neglect the homeless people, 4 million homeless people in the streets in this country, all the young people that are wondering, should I get an education beyond high school or not? We are looking at a void in that department with Trump. And now he wants to cut $800 billion from the Medicaid social services roll. He just wants to rip a hole in the very essence of what this country offers people. I'm not Jesus Christ, but I'm saying, isn't it possible that there is a person out there that was born 57 years ago that can actually step up to the mat now and do what is needed? And why would you alienate that person and keep them constantly censored from getting their word out every day? Now, if you don't believe in God, then there's no meaning to anything, and you might as well just hope for the best. And I don't blame you for at least hoping that there's some justice in the world. Say you're an atheist and you believe in fairness and you're a good person. You're not going to hurt people even though you don't believe there's an afterlife. There are people like that. There are a lot of atheists that just don't want to hurt people. And then there are atheists that would rather kill people because they enjoy it, because they don't care about the afterlife. You think you're hot shit, don't you? I mean, whoever that person is torturing children in this audio clip, and I'm going to play it for you. Whoever that person is, they need to be investigated. Yeah, I'm a voiceover expert. I can do voices.
You think you're hot shit, don't you? You think you're hot shit, don't you? You think you're hot shit, don't you? You will call me. You will call me. You will call me. Dang it!
Just get lost. Just get lost. Just get lost. Just get lost.
You think you're hot shit, don't you? You think you're hot shit, don't you? Say it again!
Now, you didn't hear the kids screaming when that person was saying that. I'm not saying it was John Podesta, but it could be. All I'm saying is they banned me. What do you mean Beam? What's Beam? I don't even know what Beam is. Look, I have millions of viewers right now on UHF. They bump my signal, and many people use it as free content, and people love it. I'm afraid you're wrong, vocal alcoholism. Yeah, you're wrong. Vodka Catholicism. You guys have no idea. The media is supposed to be a conduit for the people. If a guy like me is getting 100 million views a day internationally, I don't know about you, but that's a news story. That's a news story. And the media in America has an obligation to put my show out there and talk to me. Yeah, UHF channels, that's right. They can copy what's on the internet and put it on UHF TV, and people love it because they can't afford the internet. A lot of poor people watch this show because they can't afford to even watch anything. David, how are the bees close to extinction? Well, when they get near a food source of an NYP detective, they're no longer in extinction. There's the video that just doesn't want to play. Found in the bedroom wall of a retired NYP detective. You know, he might have just, had some food in there or something. The bees are under threat. The bumblebee population is declining rapidly because of glyphosate. Let's not confuse the issue. Wow, check this out, folks. Thanks for the new tip. Elon Musk, the guy who openly claimed about his addiction to crack cocaine, how it keeps him up and how he needs it to stay up, now is building an underground tunnel project will transport cars at 125 miles an hour. That's fine, but they can go 140 miles an hour above ground, so what's the point? Let's see that article. Oh, we're getting close to the end of the show. No, I can't. We're going to learn about Monica Lewinsky after we watch this thing about robots, sex robots. And there's no connection between Monica Lewinsky and sex robots. No intention. Elon Musk, he is building an underground boring equipment system. This guy, I always said he was a cocaine user, but then he admitted on Twitter that he does crack in order to stay awake. And then I realized, oh, wow, so most of his ideas are coming from crack. Amazing. Well, I guess when you're on crack, you really don't want to see anybody driving in your path. So, you just want to go underground and say, yeah, I just want to zone out and travel 125 miles an hour. Inspired by a desire to alleviate out-of-control traffic in LA, he aims to first dig a tunnel from SpaceX headquarters to the nearby LA airport. Yeah, they're building the tunnel in LA. He just posted pictures of his machine breaking ground. A deep, multi-layered network of underground tunnels. If it'll help with traffic, I'm all for it. Traffic jams in LA are always a problem, but Don't you think you should be worried more about the water quality in Los Angeles? I mean, Elon Musk, come on, man, get off crack. You need to worry more about water quality, seriously. They just found out that the water quality in certain areas of Los Angeles is 3 times worse amounts of lead than Flint, Michigan. I mean, isn't this insane? And this guy wants to create an underground railway. What, to move human trafficking or something? I mean, that's what underground railways were in the past. Apparently it plays on that unit, but not on this one. Flash works better on Epic. Maybe that's not Epic. Huh. Okay, here we go. More of the Relationship of the Future, your love doll robot. And tomorrow will be our anti-war rally starting at 5 o'clock. Hopefully we'll keep the war from happening in Syria, although Trump and Kissinger met recently to continue the war that they plan on creating in Syria. It'll be very interesting to see them continue the war as Trump begins to melt down with the trial that's coming on his Russian connections. Now, don't resort to a chicken, please. And Miley Cyrus, I think this is a paste up. There's no connection whatsoever to Miley Cyrus in this picture. Yeah, if you're tired of choking the chicken, your chance now of meeting a real live love doll has increased dramatically. Yeah.
Close your eyes. Wake up. Smile.
Her name is...
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say good night to everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.